CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
It's been a disappointing time in the nation's capital. The 0-3 Washington Redskins trying to salvage a devastating beginning to the season. The Super Bowl champion Denver Broncos are still reveling in the joy of last season's first championship. This 1998 campaign has been just as rewarding, as head coach Mike Shanahan has gotten his team off to a perfect 3-0 start. It's the Broncos and the Redskins next.
Week 4 of the 1998 National Football League season on CBS, and we come to you from the suburbs of the nation's capital, Jack Kent Cooke Stadium in Raljohn, Maryland, where the undefeated Denver Broncos take on the winless Washington Redskins. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Verne Lundquist along with Randy Cross. Redskins looking for their first win, but the big story here, the decision by John Elway that he could not go this afternoon. Told us 2 hours ago, yes, he would play. The hamstring tightened up on him, Randy. He will not start. Bobby Brister will. How does that change things?
Well, in the past, huge. It'd be cataclysmic. But right now for the Denver Broncos, they won the Super Bowl because of Terrell Davis. They're the best team in the league because of Terrell Davis. And if you're the Redskins, you've got to do two things today. You've got to stop making the stupid mistakes, and you've got to stop Terrell Davis and try to make Bobby Brister, the new Broncos quarterback, beat you.
Well, John Elway made this decision within the last half an hour. Let's get more now from our sideline commentator, Michelle Tafoya.
All right, Verne, thank you. You're right. There was a lot of confusion down here as to whether or not John Elway would play. He was here during pregame warmups, but he only took very few snaps. It was at that point we started nosing around and asking, is he going to go? Is he going to go? We couldn't get a straight answer, but as you saw, he got out of that uniform. He's in street clothes. He will take no snaps. Bobby Brister will start, and it is all because of that right hamstring tightening up on him during pregame warmups. Back upstairs to you.
All right, Michelle, the Redskins won the toss and have elected to receive. Jason Elam is getting set to kick off. Brian Mitchell and Stephen Davis are the deep men. James Thrash, who normally is one of the two return men, inactive today, had an ineffective week last week in the loss in Seattle. There's Brian Mitchell, one of the all-time kick return leaders in the National Football League. And Elam with the kickoff. Broncos will go on defense to open the game. Here's Mitchell at the 8. And Brian Mitchell down at the 25-yard line, so this Washington Redskin offense will be led by Trent Green, who gets his third start today. Came on in relief of Gus Frerotte in the season opener. Up front, one change. That'll be at right guard, where Rod Milstead will replace the injured Joe Patton. And among the backs and receivers, James Jenkins opens at tight end for the first play.
But don't be surprised. Jenkins is a big blocking tight end, but I expect this team to come out throwing.
Jenkins lines up tight to the left. Larry Bowie and Terry Allen in the backfield. Green right side and incomplete, intended for Leslie Shepard on first down and 10. Defensively for Denver, Darian Gordon defending on that play. The front four has Keith Traylor back. He missed last week because of an injury. Two great outside linebackers having terrific years, John Mobley and Bill Romanowski. And Ray Crockett on the corner had 2 interceptions a week ago, one of which he returned for 80 yards and a touchdown in the win over Oakland. 2nd and 10. That's Jamie Asher, the tight end, in motion, and the handoff goes to Terry Allen. Tries the right side across the 25 out near the 28-yard line. Glenn Cadrez, number 59, and Steve Atwater with the tackle.
And that's one thing you expect the Redskins to be able to do, is run the ball effectively. And surprisingly, so far this year, the Denver Broncos have been susceptible to the run. They're averaging against them more than 4.5 yards a carry. It's almost like a carryover or a revert back to last year early in the season, when everybody said this defense can't stop the run, and they came on to be the best one in the league last year at the end of the season.
3rd and 7, Brian Mitchell replaces Allen in the third down offense. Green looks left and settles right, and the pass is caught by Chris Thomas, number 89, who will serve as one of the third down receivers today. Chris Thomas's 5th catch of the year. He had 1 for 23 last week.
The most important thing for young Trent Green, get in that moon right there, and you get the protection. You're very patient, and you scan the field. You notice it was first receiver, second receiver, third receiver, and number 3 still got him the first down.
Ball at the 36-yard line. Chris Thomas makes the catch. This time it's Terry Allen back in the lineup, and he comes left, runs into Keith Traylor, number 94. Well, North Turner telling us they've not had problems, Randy, in moving the ball, particularly in the first half.
Well, they've made a lot of dumb mistakes. In fact, surprisingly, Allen has put the ball on the ground twice the last couple of weeks in critical situations. But North Turner's football team, especially in the first half, they played San Francisco strong in the first half. They played Seattle strong in the first half. They dominated practically the Giants in the first half. It's the second half they have their problems.
That's Leslie Shepard in motion. The hand goes to the fullback, Larry Bowie. And he picks up a couple of yards out to the 42. Keith Traylor makes the tackle.
A surprising area for this defense for Denver. I think teams look at this football team that is a very lean, well-conditioned team. They don't have any of the great big fat guys in the middle of the defense, and they say, we can pound the ball right at these guys. You don't get success inside against Greg Robinson's defense. He's a coordinator for the Broncos, and where you get success is on the exteriors, where the ends of the linebackers commit to a blitz, and then you take advantage of it.
Redskins converted their last third down. This time, Trent Green looks at a 3rd and 4. Full-man rush, no blitz. Green with good protection, but it's almost picked off. Wow, that one almost went south as Darius Johnson, number 25, had both hands on it. And it will be 4th down. The Redskins got away with one.
Darius Johnson was planning on how he was going to drive that new car before he paid for it and took delivery of it, because that pass was right there for him to go the other way for a touchdown. Trent Green got lucky, and those are the kind of breaks the Redskins need in a game like this.
Darian Gordon, who muffed a punt last week in the win over Oakland, back to return Matt Turk's first effort of the afternoon. This one not particularly effective, but Gordon camps under it. Chris Thomas was downfield on special teams for the Redskins, so it is a 42-yard punt. No return when we come back. Bubby Brister gets his first start at quarterback since 1996. Bobby Brister has come on in relief of John Elway in the last 2 games. He signed by the team last year, played in 1 regular season game, out of football in 1996. He was with the Jets in 95, his last start almost 3 years ago. John Elway tried to go, told us 2 hours ago he would play, and then pregame warm-up said, nope, the hamstring hurts. So here is Brister as the starter. The toss, Terrell Davis. He comes right with a pulling guard, and Davis out to the 26-yard line. Let's check the remainder of the offensive starters, and make a note of Howard Griffith, who came onto the field. As you look at the starting offensive line, Harry Swain at right tackle and Tony Jones at left. Howard Griffith suffered from the flu this morning and was really feeling uncomfortable in the warm-ups before the game started.
The biggest key for this offensive football team are their blockers. Howard Griffith is a great lead blocker. This offensive line is the most coordinated, well-oiled line in the league.
2nd and 2. Terrell Davis goes left this time, is spilled as he gets out near the 28-yard line. Redskin defense, they've got the multi-million-dollar defensive tackles, and their problems really against the run have come on the corners. Wilkinson and Stubblefield anchor that line. Marcus Patton, the leading tackler at middle linebacker. And in the secondary, Darrell Green and Chris Dishman on the corners. And we will measure for the first down.
To me, the biggest problem with this defense, they talk about the corners. They talk about a lot of things. Those are excuses. They signed those 2 big defensive tackles and gave them a king's ransom to make plays. Wilkinson has a sack and a half. Stubblefield has none. They have 23 tackles in 3 games between them. They were given all that money to make plays, and they are not making plays.
Wilkinson, a 5-year deal for $21.4 million. Stubblefield, a 6-year deal for $36 million. I did not stutter.
Cha-ching.
3rd and inches.
I never had to buy a lottery ticket. This is the strength of this Denver line. Watch how low they keep their pads and see if they get under these big Redskins.
Play action. Here's a reverse. pitch to Rod Smith. He goes left after the handoff, and he's got blockers downfield. Darrell Green giving chase, and Smith goes out of bounds as Stanley Richard and Darrell Green catch up with him, but a 37-yard gain.
Excellent play call. Great thing. The reverse is going to go back this way, but watch Darrell Green come back around the field and chasing Rod Smith. I'll tell you, there is not another cornerback in the NFL that is going to catch this play from behind and make a receiver go out of bounds. He had to go out of bounds. He was getting pursuit from Darrell Green. That was the critical thing. Stanley Richards, the safety, was where he was supposed to be.
That's Terrell Davis in motion. Here's Brister with a short setup. Fires it, and it's caught by Shannon Sharp, the tight end at the 30-yard line. Well, it brings back to mind the susceptibility of this Redskin defense against the run. They are giving up 151 yards per game against the rush.
They came in here at 465 yards in 3 games. They have been lit up, and they've been lit up because the defense has not played with the intensity that's commensurate with their paychecks.
And turnovers and big plays have also hampered them. Meanwhile, the Broncos look at a 2nd down and 5 in the scoreless first quarter. Brister goes out of the shotgun and will scramble, pulls up, incomplete for Smith. It'll be 3rd down. Bubby Brister chatting with us last night, Randy, said the last 2 weeks he's taken a lot of reps with the first team because of John's hamstring problem.
Makes him feel more like a starter. He gets back in that groove. He hasn't been in since '95 last time he started. But you got to remember one thing about Bubby Brister. He's good size. He's got a strong arm, but you can't let him get hit. You're looking at Brian Greasy as the 2nd quarterback now, the rookie out of Michigan who has never taken a regular season snap. You don't want to have to see him in a football game, especially in this place.
Rod Smith in the slot left. Willie Green is wide left. The handoff to Terrell Davis, and he skips to the outside. 1st down plus. A nifty run by the NFL's leading rusher. Terrell Davis came in with 370 yards in 3 games.
This offense is great at building walls. Here's going to be one wall. Here's going to be another wall. And watch Terrell Davis read this play. He sees it's supposed to go left, and a quick dart outside. Great seal block out there by the wide receivers. I mean, this offensive line, this offense blocks for the run better than any other offense in the league, and that includes the wide receivers. They have the best blocking wide receivers out there.
High formation on 1st down and 10. After the conversion, the toss to Davis goes left. The flag is down. And Davis is down as well as he gets inside the 15 to the 13.
That's 2 flags down. One at the snap and one came deep from the umpire, which usually means holding.
Derek Smith with the tackle. Referee today is Bill Carollo. And I'm sure we'll get the offset.
Holding, number 69, offense. Offsides, number 90, defense. Penalties offset. Replay 1st down.
That was Kennard Lang who was offside and Mark Schlereth who was guilty of holding.
And North Turner's football team has had these kind of things happen to them. Just when they get a penalty kind of break, they make the mistake by lining up offside. They had a chance to push back that offense of the Denver Broncos.
1st and 10. And the back split. In the red zone this year, Denver has been outstanding. Play fake. Brister has a man. McCaffrey's open for the touchdown. Ed McCaffrey had 2 TD catches last week, and he completes the run with a 19-yard grab here.
Verne, the last time the Broncos won a game without John Elway being the starter was 1989 here in Washington. That was a totally different football team. Just remember the fact that Terrell Davis is the guy from Mike Shanahan's football team. The running game set up that whole scenario deep in there for the Denver Broncos. But also don't forget that offsetting penalty. The Broncos should have been guilty of holding.
Jason Elam will try to tack on the extra point, so Denver goes the length of the field to open the game with their first sustained offensive drive. The highlight, a 37-yard run by Rod Smith, and the 19-yard catch by McCaffrey.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Air, Saturn, and by IBM.
Broncos go 81 yards and get the touchdown toss from Bubby Brister to Ed McCaffrey. They're up by 7. Jason Elam will kick it deep, and Brian Mitchell waits for the Redskins at the goal line. Mitchell out to the 10. Down at the 15-yard line, Dwayne Carswell, number 89, and Darius Johnson down to combine for the tackle. Time called here at Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. Bubby Brister gets a chance to rest. His team is up by a touchdown.
Well, here's the matchup between McCaffrey and Dishman. You get the roll action. He makes the cornerback bite on that first move. Dishman gets inside, and because of the roll action, that sets up the defensive back. Great execution by the receiver, McCaffrey, and very good footwork. Watch the feet. The catch becomes the easy part. The tippy tap gets a little tough when you're heading for the boundary.
Terry Allen gets the handoff on first down for Washington. Heads around the right side and runs into Ray Crockett, cornerback for the Denver Broncos. Now, this Redskin team not one adept at playing catch-up either, Randy.
Well, this offense is high-powered. This offense has weapons like Terry Allen, like Michael Westbrook, Leslie Shepard. Jamie Asher's a good receiving tight end. They have made the dumb mistakes and stopped themselves. A lot of yards, but they can't afford to get into a scoring contest with the Broncos.
2nd and 4, big hole, Terry Allen. Out of the tackle, being chased by Atwater. And a big gain for Terry Allen. 26 on that romp.
Well, we talked about the offensive line for the Denver Broncos doing a good job from the ground level. You can see the offensive line for the Washington Redskins just push man blocking, and overrunning the play right there was Eric Brown, the rookie, starting at free safety. And because of that overrun, Atwater's got to come in late here and make this tackle, but good coordination and a good play for North Turner's offense.
Larry Bowie sets up to block for Terry Allen, and they'll test the middle. Allen, of course, too. Here comes a late flag. And we're going to have a face mask call, I believe. Yep.
That's good. This is going to be against Trey Johnson, working on Bill Romanowski.
Holding or face mask. In either case, it will go against the Redskins.
Well, Romo got up and started give a lecture to the official.
Holding.
Holding, number 77, offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
Trey Johnson, perhaps the best of the offensive linemen for the Redskins.
Well, he's the best offensive lineman the Redskins have. He's 330, 340 pounds, coming from the left guard position. Watch him working against Romanowski. He tries to dig him out with that left hand and then just collars him and throws him down. That's the value of Romanowski's style of football. There's a very well-conditioned, very strong, and football-savvy linebacker making the offensive lineman make a mistake. He had the initial body position to be blown out, but that little last adjustment you saw made Trey Johnson have to grab him.
First and 20 for the Redskins. Here comes the blitz from Romanowski. And Trent Green gets rid of it to Terry Allen. They get the 10 yards back. Good job by Trent Green in the face of the rush from a blitzing linebacker, Bill Romanowski.
The whole idea on a screen pass is to give the defense the impression that they're free and going to get a shot at the quarterback. See, Romanowski comes up the inside, think he's got a great shot. The other defensive linemen, suddenly they're free. Well, most defensive linemen, though, or defensive players, when they're that free, get suspicious, turn around and look for what they got. In that case, a screen pass, fairly well executed by the Redskins.
Stephen Davis in the lineup now replacing Terry Allen. It's a 2nd down and 9 after the 11-yard gain. Straight drop back. Trent Green comes left, man open, Shepard. First down at the 35. 17-yard gain and a nice route run by Leslie Shepard.
Well, not only a nice route run, but this is the kind of pass that tests NFL quarterbacks. This is across the field. It's over a linebacker. It has to have enough speed to get to your receivers and enough arch to get over the linebacker. It was Romanowski who barely missed it, but Trent Green showing a lot of touch. And so far in this game, showing you out there that haven't seen these Redskins, why he's now the starter, and Gus Frerott's number 2.
Ball at the 35, and a dead ball foul will be called.
Somebody started 5 yards too early.
Number 77, false start. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
I'm not sure, but I think they might have been setting up the reverse then, too. And if so, did they show their hand, and it has to go back in the pocket?
Yeah, absolutely. And Trey Johnson was in such a hurry to help sell that sweep to the right and the reverse back the other way that he jumped off a little early. That's 20 yards in penalties early on the Redskins' best lineman.
Play fake, Green. Deep, right side, man open. Michael Westbrook, who had 7 catches for 132 yards last week, has a 19-yard grab here.
And the former Colorado Buffalo star, teamed up with Cordell Stewart in college, has been a receiver that can make the big play, that has to be involved early, that can burn you. In this case, he's getting off to a nice start, but benefiting from some very cool quarterbacking from Trent Green. He is throwing these balls just perfectly.
Green, a nice start. 4 of 6 in the early going. Handoff, sweep. Terry Allen, good defensive job by John Mobley, number 51. Now get ready for a new season of challenges, new life, and new hope. An hour of TV that should not be missed. Chicago Hope, the season premiere Wednesday, 10 o'clock Central, 9 Central on CBS. That's Washington Hope right now, second down at the 21-yard line.
The red zone is the one area that Washington has had the most mistakes this year so far.
Here's Green. Lobs it, dropped. Incomplete. Terry Allen, who had a fumble last week and had a fumble the week before, has a drop here.
And it's extremely surprising out of a guy like Terry Allen. I mean, Terry Allen, the only running back in the history of the league. It's well documented. 2 ACL tears to come back, gain for 1,000 yards after each tear. A veteran, a leader, not the guy you expect to be making these mental lapses. And folks, these are mental lapses. It's not a physical mistake when you drop the ball or don't catch a pass.
3rd and 10, Brian Mitchell is in the backfield for Washington as they trail 7-0. Here's Green, rush coming, and another drop. This one by Chris Thomas. And that arouses the ire of the Redskin fans. Now, the 3rd field goal kicker in as many weeks is on the field. Kerry Blanchard for Norv Turner's team. They started the season with Scott Blanton. He was waived after the Monday night disaster here. David Akers was activated off the practice squad, missed 2 and kicked off short, and Kerry Blanchard was signed in midweek.
Yeah, kickers for Norv Turner this year don't have short leashes. They're all standing on trap doors.
Kerry Blanchard, last year with the Colts. That's a poor snap, but a good hold, and the kick is up and good. And a resounding cheer for Kerry Blanchard. Not much emotion sown by the coach. A flag is down. Hold everything. Procedure call, Washington.
Can this team make some mistakes when they get in that plus area of a football field? 2 drop passes.
Illegal formation. 6 men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 4th down.
6 men on the line of scrimmage. You know, on a field goal, you've got to have people up near the line of scrimmage. These guys have got to be up here, and you've got to have a line. Look at the flying wedge the Redskins put up there. That's the problem. The whole flying wedge is so far away from the center, it's got to be an illegal formation.
So Kerry Blanchard gets to try it from 44 yards out. Dan Turk will snap it. Blanchard perfect in preseason this summer. This time the snap is high. The kick is up, and it's no good. The Redskins, thus far this season, have lost 17 points on penalties.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the NASDAQ stock market and by Claritin.
Sellout crowd at Jack Kent Cooke Stadium in Raljon, Maryland. A little disgruntled now. You hear some murmurs in the stands as the Redskins, it's not just shooting themselves in the feet.
They're out of toes.
Yeah.
It's only the 4th game, and they are flat out of toes. And right now, they don't look like they're showing any signs of growing the toes back.
Broncos' second offensive set. They went 81 yards the first time they had the ball. Here is Terrell Davis. Goes left and picks up about 3 out near the 37-yard line. Tackle made by Dana Stubblefield and Kelvin Kinney.
One thing this defense has to do, and Dana Stubblefield specifically on this play, is when you're getting out there laterally on a Terrell Davis, you got to make that play for no or half a yard gain. Terrell Davis is such a strong running back, you've got to explode through him when you make those tackles.
2nd down and 6. Terrell Davis, those of you in the Denver area might notice that he's missing his braces. Had his braces taken off of his teeth on Tuesday. 2nd down. Into the right side, and it's caught by Shannon Sharp, short of the 1st down, but across the 40-yard line. Leamont Evans, number 35, makes the tackle. Log on to www.nfl.com and check out this week's Player Spotlight on Seahawks wide receiver Joey Galloway. Plus, get team-by-team matchups on WLF, WNWFL, whatever.
There's a couple dots, couple W's, and a few NFLs in there.
I'm trying to get current on this stuff before the century ends. Did you get my email last week?
Absolutely.
Oh, good. At least that worked. Here's Terrell Davis for the 1st down after the 46. Dana Stubblefield with the tackle on 3rd and 1.
And for all the great-looking things that Terrell Davis does, I think one of the things he's really learned to do better over the last year or so is run more like Marcus Allen, who we see in our pregame show all the time, is when he gets in short yardage, he gets down to the ground and gets the yards he needs. This is the impressive thing to me right here. 40 rushing touchdowns. I mean, if he gets near the money, he's going to get the money.
McCaffrey in motion wide to the left. Play action, Bobby Brister settles short for Terrell Davis, and he is tackled by Ken Harvey, number 57, at the 50-yard line. All right, now let's go back to our New York studios. An NFL update. Here is Jim Nance.
Hey, Verne and Randy, a quarterback change today, too, in Philadelphia. Rodney Peete for the winless Eagles in their first series, 70 yards, and Deuce Staley with only the Eagles' 2nd touchdown of the season. Back to you guys in Washington.
Now, the Rodney Peete story, much like that of Bubby Brister, and of course, Brister played at Philadelphia. That's where he and Bill Romanowski were teammates.
And Ray Rhodes' situation in Philly makes Norv Turner's hair seem very warm and fuzzy.
That's right. Dead ball foul now. Kennard Lang claiming there was movement, and there was.
Ball start, number 84, offense.
That would be Shannon
5-yard
Sharp.
penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
See, it's not just young guys. It's not just offensive linemen. You've got an all-pro, Pro Bowl tight end with a quiver. That wasn't a jump. That was just a bad guess.
2nd and 12 after the penalty. 7-0. Denver leads it on a very sultry Sunday afternoon. 89 degrees here in Washington when we started. Here's Brister, forced to get rid of it, and he does. Derek Smith makes the tackle at the 49 of the Redskins, the 2nd-year man from Arizona State. Ed McCaffrey with a grab. McCaffrey off to a really fine start in '98.
As good as he played last year, he spent a lot of time this offseason, as did every Bronco, working on 2 things: his strength, his football strength, and his football speed. And he's really becoming a factor in this offense. You know, for a guy that in New York, when he was at Dan Reeves with the Giants, we sort of touted as, hey, he's just a possession guy. This guy does it all now.
3rd and 5. Broncos perfect on 3rd down so far. Brister lobs it out for Sharp. Got it, 1st down inside the 30. Nice pass by Bubby Brister. Jamel Williams, number 22, defending, but it's another 1st down on a 20-yard gain.
When you're working with Shannon Sharpe, you're so worried about the seam that he gives you this one coming off the seam. And any questions right now about how effective this offense can be without John Elway? John Elway is an integral part of this offense. But with Terrell Davis and the pros with the attitudes like Shannon Sharpe and the leadership of this football team, they can survive without a John Elway.
Here's Terrell Davis, and he shoots through left tackle down near the 21-yard line.
I don't think they'd want to survive for long, but for a day here in Washington, I think they're going to be all right.
Derek Smith with the tackle. And the first quarter comes to an end. The Broncos had a 19-yard touchdown grab from Ed McCaffrey. They lead it by 7. We'll return after this message and a word from your local station. We get set for the start of quarter number 2. The Broncos threatening again. They lead by 7. John Elway told us 2 hours before the game he would play. Then in pregame warmups indicated that the hamstring had hurt too much and decided to give way to Bubby Brister.
And the offense is so far very effective with him because Terrell Davis is running the ball. Shanahan's calling a good game offensively, and Brister's got the touch.
McCaffrey in motion. Brister with a toss. Terrell Davis goes right with Dan Neal, number 62, providing the block. And that will be close for the first down as this Bronco onslaught continues. And I think the point you made about this being Terrell Davis is Davis's team is really good.
It really is. I mean, he runs like that on that play. This is a team offensively. He's got 131 yards in the first quarter. Almost perfectly balanced run and pass. It's what they do best. And Washington so far has made enough mistakes to look like Washington has the first 3 weeks of the game.
Well, the Broncos with a chance to go 4-0. They would become the first defending Super Bowl team since the 49ers in '90 to get off to a 4-0 start, should they win today. Third down. Davis darts out of a tackle and is caught short at the 19-yard line. That'll bring up the fourth down. Kennard Lang, number 90, with the run stop.
A nice job by the defense not picking up and not buying what Mike Shanahan's offense is trying to sell him. Kennard Lang and the rest of the guys saw Rod Smith coming back like they were faking another reverse, like Terrell was going to hand it off. They never bit.
Tom Nalen snaps for the field goal. Jason Elam, who is perfect this season, 4 of 4, will kick it from 37 yards out. Tom Ruin, the punter, will hold it. High snap. But a perfect kick. Jason Elam is now 5 for 5. In 1998, the Broncos extend their lead. They're up by 10 at Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. Broncos lead at 10-0. Jason Elam authors the kick, and Brian Mitchell comes right, grabs it at the 3. Mitchell breaks a tackle and moves it out to the 33-yard line. And the Redskins come back on offense after the 31-yard return. Terrorists invade Washington and take 2 JAG officers hostage. Now the world will be watching as the fate of America hangs in the balance in the all-new episode of JAG. Tuesday, 8 o'clock, 7 Central. CBS. 34-yard line is where the ball is spotted. Trent Green's third start. He had thrown only 1 pass in his NFL career prior to coming on in the second half in the season opener up in New York. He played very effectively then. Gus Frerotte had thrown 2 disastrous interceptions in that game, and Norv Green was quick to make the switch.
Well, you know, Norv Turner's team right now has done what we said earlier in the game they really shouldn't do. They haven't stopped Terrell Davis. He's got 35 yards so far rushing on 8 carries, and they've made the dumb mistakes. That's been the critical problem. The offsides, the drop passes. For them to have a chance and get in this game and really play nose-to-nose with Denver, they got to play clean. They cannot afford to make mistakes.
Time called for the moment, and here is Gus Frerotte. Signed a 4-year, $18 million deal after he won the starting spot in a battle with Heath Shuler. Shuler, a #1 draft pick and 4th in the draft, one of the disastrous first-round picks the Redskins have made since 1992. And Gus Frerotte, his moment in the sun may have come and gone.
Not in the NFL of the late 90s. A guy that can play quarterback, and Gus Frerotte can play quarterback in this league. He's either going to get another shot to win this job back here in Washington the way the season's going, or we'll get a shot somewhere else. I'm sure at this point he doesn't want to play anywhere else, but Gus Frerotte can play football in the NFL.
First down at the 34. Trent Green, of course, an 8th-round draft pick by San Diego. He spent 1994 as the 3rd quarterback for the Chargers, never saw action, waived the next year, sat out of football a year, and went to Canada for 5 games and was signed as a free agent off the British Columbia Lions by the Redskins in 1995. Here's the pass to Terry Allen for a modest gain as John Mobley, number 51, makes the tackle.
Neil Smith, awful slow getting up in the backfield of the Washington Redskins after that last pass rush. It's one thing this Denver Broncos team has been pretty lucky. I mean, Elway's hamstring aside, they have managed to get through so far in this season without a critical injury.
So the Broncos defensive end down. Steve Antonopoulos, the trainer, leads the men who will assist him onto the field. We'll take a break while they tend to the injury to Broncos defensive end Neil Smith. Well, the good news for Neil Smith is he walked off the field without assistance. 2nd down. And here's the handoff for about a yard. Let's go back, Randy, and take a look at what might have happened to Neil Smith.
Here's Neil Smith standing up, but also watch Harold Hasselbeck right there, the right defensive end. Because what happens here on this play, Neil Smith takes the inside route. Hasselbeck takes the high road. He's going back after the ball. Look at the right leg. See the right leg of Neil Smith get trapped on Hasselbeck's body and twist the leg like that. Sometimes it doesn't have to be AstroTurf. It doesn't have to be your cleats caught in the grass. Just sort of weird, friendly fire.
3rd and 6, Redskins trailing by 10. Broncos send only 3 and drop 8. Here's Trent Green out of trouble. He'll scramble and gets the first down. Hit by Romanowski, but not before he picks up 9 yards, and they move the chains.
Wow, that hit right there by Bill Romanowski on Trent Green is a breath holder for the Redskins, their coaches, their fans. Watch Romo come in here low, right at the leg. That is good low tackling by the Broncos linebacker, and you want to say that maybe on AstroTurf with a little stickier field, Trent Green's got a physical problem on a tackle like that.
Avoids the problem now. 1st down and 10. Leslie Shepard starts in motion. Play fake. Green looking left. Settles for a short receiver, and Larry Bowie dropped it. That's 3 drops in the first half of play. Atwater defending.
Yeah, one thing that's unusual for the Broncos is we're not seeing wholesale crazy fronts and looks and blitzes out of Greg Robinson. He probably, as well as anybody in the league, knows how to sort of what I refer to as smile and dial. You know, he just changes things up. He tries to get in the quarterback's head, Trent Green. He tries to get in North Turner's head. He's playing pretty base right now.
Here comes the blitz, and Green is hit by Romanowski. It's picked off. Down the far sideline they go. Dorian Gordon, and that's in for a touchdown, 55 yards. Last week it was Ray Crockett for 80. Here is Darian Gordon, 55, and Romanowski set it up with the blitz.
Well, it's set up by the blitz because they're showing relatively base look, but here's Romo coming inside on the game. Trey Johnson can't get him. Darian Gordon is sitting on the route. He knows exactly where the receiver Shepard is, steps right in front with the pass, and gets himself a touchdown. I said smiling and dialing and getting inside of people's heads. And that's just what the Broncos defense, their coordinator, Greg Robinson, did on that play. They guessed right, and they guessed perfect.
Jason Elam for the extra point. And before you can say, how do you do, Broncos lead by 17.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Oldsmobile, Bud Light, and and by KFC.
Jack Kent Cooke Stadium, Trent Green, when he was a rookie in this league, an 8th-round draft pick of the San Diego Chargers, he was a teammate of Darian Gordon. He just threw one right into his hands after the blitz from Romanowski, 55-yard return. And the Broncos are up by 17. Here's Brian Mitchell at the 21-yard line. And the Redskins back on offense now, but they look at a 17-point deficit with 11-12 to go first half. Career touchdown for Darian Gordon, the Broncos cornerback. 2 of them on interceptions, 6 on punt returns. Today's was 55 yards, and the Redskins are now -9 turnovers.
Well, much like Deion Sanders, you give him an opening as a defensive back on interception, we're talking 6 points, and he proved it.
Terry Allen gets across the 25 out near the 26, runs into Harold Hasselbeck, number 96.
Defensive football can be like a dance when it's executed properly. Gordon breaks on the ball. He's perfectly coordinated with his other defensive backs, with his blitzing linebacker Romanowski. Greg Robinson's defense perfectly executes the play. Watch Romanowski get in here late. I mean, Terry Allen had a decision. There were 2 guys free. He had to try to get one of them.
On 2nd and 4, Terry Allen across the 30 to the 31. Well, today's overhead shots are brought to you courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes, based in Pompano Beach, Florida. At the controls today, Captain Jim Maloney from Vienna, Virginia. Temperature of 89 as we kicked off at 1 o'clock. And if you joined us late, John Elway, not in uniform today, came out, tried to go through pregame warm-ups, made a decision after that attempt that he would not play, and Bobby Brister opened the quarterback. Now, double tight end set on 3rd and short. And we'll see, it looks like the Redskins have enough to get a fresh series of downs. Washington off to the worst start in the franchise history since 1981, when Joe Gibbs was a first-year head coach. That team lost its first 5, rallied and finished 8-8. But the difference in this game, Randy, thus far from the first 3 losses this season, is they were really competitive in the first halves of those games.
Well, you know, and Gibbs' team back in 81 was youth and enthusiasm. This team's enthusiasm has been sorely missing.
Terry Allen, nice rumble around the right side, out of bounds at the 48-yard line. That's a gain of 15. We'll go back and look at it again.
But remember, I told about if you're going to run against this football team, the business isn't inside, the business is outside. Good coordination. Westbrook gets an excellent block. Milstead, 69's out there blocking. Leslie Shepard gets a block. That is an executed play. That's a well-executed play.
Terry
Turner's offense needs consistently well-executed plays without any brain freezes.
Allen will rest after picking up 69 yards on 10 carries, and Stephen Davis comes in to take his place across midfield to the 49.
Stephen Davis not nuts about Romanowski throwing him down at the end of that play. Watch the very inside of this play at the end. Davis is going to fight. He's going to fight. Look at Romanowski slapping and punching at that football, trying to rip it out of the arms of Stephen Davis. Davis saying, no, wait a minute. I'm on the pile. The whistle's blown. What exactly is your problem?
Now, you played with Bill Romanowski at San Francisco. Image, reputation, what do you think?
It's part crazy, part shtick. I mean, he really cultivates the fact that he's supposed to be that kind of ball player. He's intense, he's dedicated, and he could use a lot of Romanowskis on your football team.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Volkswagen and by First Union.
10-year veteran Ray Crockett, injured at the end of the last play, walked off without assistance, but he joins Neil Smith among the walking wounded on the Bronco bench.
It's the one thing the Broncos have not had and can ill afford is to start losing tackles.
Play fake. Trent Green looks deep and fires it for Steven Alexander, the tight end who was a second-round draft pick, top draft choice this year out of Oklahoma for Washington.
And Norv Turner likes this young tight end. I mean, he says he's going to be something very special in the passing end of the game when he really learns to, well, let's just say get it. Young players don't always get the whole package, and he doesn't quite get it. But in this case, on this play, he knows he's got that play. Norv can always go back to that type of a play for this young tight end. He's got the speed and he's got the size.
Redskins will stay with a double tight end set. Alexander right and Jamie Asher left. And Trent Green back to throw, goes deep. There's Alexander inside the 5 at the 4-yard line. What a catch.
The reason Norv's so excited about this young man is a tight end with that speed and with those hands can threaten the seam of the field. In this case, this part of the football field. Watch how quickly he threatens that area of the field. He runs by Atwater, who immediately comes into the area of Tyrone Braxton, the veteran safety. Trent Green lays it in perfectly. I like this drive from the Redskins. It shows no panic and it shows poise.
Jenkins goes in motion. Terry Allen cuts back and scores standing up. His first touchdown of 1998.
Terry Allen goes over the right side of his offensive line. That's where Milstead's making a start. For Danish, the tight end, Asher in this case. Just an excellent job by the offensive line of executing, and a fantastic job by Trent Green and his coach, Norv Turner, of poise and a great critical block.
Extra point is up and good from Kerry Blanchard. Terry Allen had 21 touchdowns 2 years ago when he set a single-season rushing record for the Redskins. Injury-plagued 1997 when he missed 6 games. But he's off to a good start this year. That is his first touchdown in the 1998 season.
And one thing this also does is this sends a great message to your defense. You know, we haven't gone away offensively. You know, Norv Turner's offense is here. They've done it against that defense. Greg Robinson talking to Atwater and Romanowski, but Terry Allen scores a touchdown here, and it's got to do something for that defense, especially that defensive line. They're the ones that have to play to come to the party in 8 plays, 79 yards, 4 minutes plus, and he had 31 yards, Terry Allen did on this drive. Watch the blocking. Down comes Milstead. Over goes Raymer. Too far inside is Tyrone Braxton, and Terry Allen makes him pay for it.
Score comes midway through the second quarter. Allen for the day now 73 yards on 11 carries. It was a week ago that he had 86 at the half, and then the Redskins fell behind, and he was not used much in the second half. Here's the kick from Kerry Blanchard, and it comes down at the 10-yard line. Taken by Derek LaVille, and he is out near the 30, stopped at the 28. Tomorrow on CBS, catch the new hot Monday night lineup, starting with Cosby. Then it's the new hit comedy critics and audiences are raving about, The King of Queens, with Kevin James and Jerry Stiller. Then it's Monday night's #1 comedy, Everybody Loves Raymond, followed by the hilarious Brian Ben Show, and the critically acclaimed new drama, L.A. Doctors. That's tomorrow night, right here on CBS.
I watched that L.A. Doctors last week. That was very good.
I will this week. On your recommendation. 1st and 10, a 10-point game. Here's Terrell Davis. Caught behind the line by Kennard Lang. Crowd's back.
The defensive line sees the touchdown by its offense, and they've got some enthusiasm. It's what this team needs. The offense has shown they haven't quit, and they got the heart. Now they sit on the sideline and watch their defense and say, okay, what do you got in your chest?
Mike Nolan, the defensive coordinator of the Redskins, goes with a nickel defense. Darrell Pounds and Jamel Williams come in. It's 2nd and 10. Bubby Brister on in relief of John Elway.
3 wide receivers.
Handoff, Davis tries to beat the tackle of Jamel Williams, and Williams hangs on. It'll be 3rd down. John Elway, again, pulled hamstring last week, 2nd week in a row. Thought he would go. Came out this morning about 9:30, 10 o'clock. Jogged a little bit. Thought he was ready to do it. But you noticed in the pregame warm-ups, he didn't take many of them.
Well, if you run 30 plays in warm-ups, maybe 20 plays, he took 4 or 5 of them. And that was the first 10. Plus, in the warm-ups, he looks very tentative, almost half jogging and limping.
3rd and 7. Blitz coming. Brister, good protection. Finds Shannon Sharp, 1st down. Out to the 46. Leamon Evans couldn't keep up with Shannon Sharp, a gain of 14.
Any questions as to the value of a veteran quarterback when he's looking at blitzes, he's looking at a defense coming after him, he's got to know now. Bubby Brister knew on that 3rd step where that ball was going because of the blitz and where it was coming from. And Shannon Sharp executing the route perfectly. This is a sign of a veteran football team, and that's why you have a veteran backup like Bubby Brister.
Derek LaVille in the lineup now. He joins Howard Griffith. That's McCaffrey in motion, wide right. Play fake again. Brister flushed right, batted down, and almost picked off. Incomplete. Kennard Lang knocked it backwards, did a Luganis, but couldn't quite catch it before it hit the ground.
You know, a big guy like Dan Wilkinson, he gets his stuff going, and he tries to kick it into another gear. Well, there is no other gear besides granny gear. He's in low. He's going after Bubby Brister. Kennard Lang tips it, has it, but the ball hits the ground. Great rush by Dan Wilkinson. Those are the kind of plays he has to make. Good aggressive defense by the Redskins defense. These are the kind of plays they have to make.
2nd and 10. LaVille stays in the backfield. Willie Green breaks off wide to the left. And Howard Griffith comes left. Brister lets it go, wings it complete across the 50 at the 48-yard line. Catch made by Rod Smith.
Bubby Brister goes right up there and kind of smacks Rod Smith on the back and says, "Nice catch, and I'm sorry." And why is it a nice catch? Because it's a nice catch. But watch where Rod Smith is when Bubby Brister delivers this ball. He's got a defensive end on one side. He's got a linebacker, Marcus Patton, on the other side. Kelvin Kenny and Patton made a sandwich out of Smith. That's why they apologize.
3rd and 3. LaVille in the backfield. Davis stays on the bench. Flag thrown by the referee, Bill Carollo. There's 2 other flags down.
Shannon Sharp again jumps.
Start, number 84, offense. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
Darryl Green is begging this crowd to get the noise level up. He's saying right there, you read his lips, he says, "I couldn't hear a thing." Watch Shannon Sharp right there. Another quiver and a jump. That is not resetting in your stance. That is moving forward, and that's why that was called.
That's 2 quivers for Shannon Sharp. 3rd and 8.
Does Darryl Green get the noise he wants?
Terrell Davis is back in the lineup. Delayed blitz. Pass is incomplete. 4th down, intended for Willie Green. And the Redskins hold the Denver Broncos. They will get the ball back with 3:45 to go, 1st half.
Remember the luck factor early for the Broncos on drop balls by the Redskins? Well, Darryl Green and his defense gets a little bit lucky here. They get a drop ball out of Willie Green because Brister did a nice job of delivering that pass on that blitz.
Glenn Cadrez will snap it back to Tom Ruin, who leads the NFL with nearly a 50-yard average. And Brian Mitchell waits at the 10. Delay of game. Whoa!
Oh, that's fine with Denver.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
You know, Rick Dennison, the special teams coach, that was a message. That was a setup from the get-go. Ruin and that deep punt team were told, go ahead and take it. It pushes you back far enough. Besides being a good leg, Ruin spent the better part of warm-ups practicing kicking the balls out of bounds, going for the coffin corner style kick. This gives him more room to do it. There's Rick Dennison, the special teams coach of the Denver Broncos.
And Ruin back. Mitchell moves up to the 11-yard line. Line drive. This is returnable. Mitchell at the 10. And he does return it near the 25. They'll spot it at the 24-yard line. A 48-yard punt, a 14-yard return for Brian Mitchell. Coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report, join Jim Nance, Marcus Allen, Brent Jones, and George Seifert for all the scores and highlights. And they'll have a preview of next week's big AFC East matchup between the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets. That's all coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report. We have 3:35 remaining in the first half. Hand off right side, Terry Allen cuts it across the 25 and is spilled at the 26-yard line. Now let's check in with Michelle Tafoya.
All right, Verne, 2 Denver injuries to update. Ray Crockett is favoring his left knee. The training staff put a supportive sleeve around that knee. It's diagnosed as a twist, and he will try to return. Meanwhile, Neil Smith also twisted his right knee, and his return is also called probable, guys.
All right, Michelle, 3:09 to go in the first half. Second down, 8. Michael Westbrook breaks off against Darian Gordon wide to the left side. This is Leslie Shepard coming to the near side. Trent Green across the middle for Leslie Shepard out to the 45-yard line. 18-yard gain. Darius Johnson playing in place of Ray Crockett makes the tackle.
That's a nice job by the coaches for Washington, setting this up with the motion. Remember, Shepard motioned across the formation. That showed the man coverage between Johnson and Shepard breaks off his route in front of the safety, Johnson, to make that catch.
Redskins, excuse me, Randy. Redskins will have a 2-minute warning, and they do have all 3 timeouts remaining. We've got 2:15 to go, first half of play. Play action, Green lobs it for Alexander, and he overthrows him. Trevor Price, number 93, last year's #1 draft choice for the Broncos, was in Green's face.
You know, Trevor Price reminds me, pass rush-wise, of a Bronco by the name of Jumpy Gathers. Watch him run his pass rush, quick spin. That's a great quick spin move. That opens him up. That gets him into Trent Green's face, and that saves his defense a good 20 yards because Shepard, I mean, not Shepard, but Alexander was open.
Trevor Price, chatting with us last night, was talking about Trey Johnson. Now, this guy is huge, and he says Trey Johnson's the largest man he's ever seen.
But he's a big guy.
They both are. Green back into the flat. Whoa, he laid his receiver out. Terry Allen, the flag is also down. Steve Atwater, number 27, there to defend. Motion call against Washington.
Illegal formation. 6-man in the line of scrimmage. Number 74 was not covered. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
That's Brad Badger, the left tackle.
It's not a matter of Badger being lined up in the wrong spot. It's a matter of the receiver outside of him not being on the line of scrimmage and covering him. That's what they mean when they say covering. And it's another mistake right now that North Turner's offense does not need to make.
3rd and 10, 2:04 to go before the break.
Neil Smith back at the bottom of the screen at defensive end.
And he may have jumped offside. This may be a 3 down. There's another flag on the far side of the field. Trent Green is stopped at the 48-yard line, so we've got 2.
Both officials saw the same guy in the neutral zone.
One was just a little quicker pulling the trigger. So Neil Smith offside. That'll cost the Broncos 5.
Offsides. Number 90 on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 3rd down. That's the 2-minute warning.
So as Mike Shanahan looks on, we'll take a break. 1:59 to go, first half. Denver by 10. Redskins trail by 10. They look at a 3rd and 5, 1:59 to go first half. They do have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. Westbrook comes off right. Ray Crockett back on the field for Denver now. Comes up to bump and run. Toss. Brian Mitchell goes left. Has the first down plus. And he gets out of bounds to save a timeout. An 11-yard gain for Brian Mitchell.
The poise that was there on that scoring drive we saw just a little while ago from the Redskins is what this team needs now. They're getting the good play calling by Norv Turner and his coaches. Excellent execution by Badger on the outside, by Shepard on the outside, and nice hard running by Mitchell, and smart running, veteran running by getting out of bounds.
Saved the timeout, did Mitchell, by getting out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Here's the toss right. It's Terry Allen. He's got some room, but the nice tackle from John Mobley saves a bunch. 1:40 to go before the break.
I'll tell you one thing this does avoid, in case you're wondering out there, why are they running the ball in this situation? They have the time left, about a minute and a half to go, and nothing could hurt this team more right now than a bad decision by the quarterback, a turnover, a drop pass turned into an interception. They don't want to make a dumb mistake at this point with the world champions.
Redskins load up on the left side. Bowie in motion. Green for Bowie, and he makes the catch. It was the same play last week in Seattle on which Larry Bowie slipped and fell, and the Seahawks got an interception. This time, they moved the chains and called timeout. Broncos lead by 10. The Redskins threatening. They've got a fresh set of downs now at the 25-yard line. Leslie Shepard and Michael Westbrook both break to the left side, and Jamie Asher, the tight end, is tight right. Here comes the blitz. Green is hit as he lets it go, and it's picked off. Intercepted by Trevor Price. Second interception of the ball game. The Washington Redskins are now minus 10 in turnovers for the season. Well, you almost forecast it.
Well, the area of the field, the time of the game, this team could least afford to make a mistake. They make a mistake. Granted, it's a forced error. It's also excellent defense, and it's taking a chance over the middle of the field you do not need to take. You've got Burns, you've got defense, you got serious problems if you're a Redskins.
Keith Traylor, 94, joined by Keith Burns, 56. They had a meeting at Trent Green's shoulder and forced him with the errant throw into the hands of Trevor Price.
That's exactly what I was talking about, though, Verne. You run those runs, you've got poise, you've got confidence. Don't let the bad thing happen. Bad things happen at the end of halves and end of the game in the middle of the football field.
Broncos hand it off. Terrell Davis hit behind the line, breaks the tackle, and moves out into the arms of Marcus Patton at the 27-yard line. Coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report, Jim Nance, Marcus Allen, Brent Jones, and George Seifert for all the scores and highlights, and a preview of next week's big AFC East matchup between the undefeated Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets. That's all coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report. And Brister might have thrown it away.
Absolutely. Intentional grounding. He was in the pocket. He grounded it, and the ball never got near the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
Look at him. He's trying to sell it. Our official's not buying it. I mean,
Nope.
our referee, Bill Carollo, saying no because it didn't get near the line of scrimmage.
Intentional grounding, number 6 on the offense. It's a 10-yard penalty. It also includes a loss of down. It'll be third down.
Watch Bubby Brister. Watch the pressure he gets from this side of the Redskins defense. Pressure. How about if Dan Wilkinson just pushes Neal back into the backfield, gets a hand on Brister, and that's why he's trying to throw it away. That's the kind of play that the Dan Wilkinsons and the Stubblefields and the guys like that have got to make for this defense.
McCaffrey comes wide to the left on 3rd and 19. And Bill Carollo is making an announcement of some sort at the 15-yard line. Resetting the clock. And it moves down to 28 seconds. Bubby Brister Longtime starter for Pittsburgh. Had stints with Philadelphia and the New York Jets, then out of football in 1996. Said he kept in shape, kept thinking he'd get a call. His former teammate Bill Romanowski went to Mike Shanahan when Bill Musgrave got injured and said, we ought to give Brister a look. He came in for a tryout, went home to Monroe, Louisiana. 3 weeks later, Gary Kubiak called, said, we're going to sign you. And here he is. They hand it off.
No surprise there, Verne. You know, as the Redskins call another timeout, Mike Shanahan's team is not going to take the chance of having a mistake.
Washington. That's the team's second charge timeout. 30-second timeout.
The last thing they want to have happen is for Bubby Brister to get hit, for the ball to go up in the air, to give the Redskins more momentum. The score hasn't changed, but the momentum is definitely on the Broncos side at 17-7 here at the half. The question for the Redskins is, can they play a second half? Let's not forget the heat. It is hot. A well-conditioned Bronco football team, a well-conditioned quarterback in Bubby Brister. You don't worry about them. You worry about the Redskins.
John Elway, he hasn't had much luck coming back to the nation's capital. In 1989, a Monday night game, Broncos came back to take on the Redskins. John was invited to a White House breakfast by President Bush. Went with Dennis Smith and the coaching staff. He ate some chipped beef on toast and got violently ill. He was telling us last night they put IVs in both arms and said, come on, you got to play. He said, I can't move.
That shit beef on toast should have been his first guess, first hint.
Here's Ruin. Bad punt. Mitchell. Bad decision. It goes right by him as he moved up. And the clock stops with 8 seconds remaining in the half. 53-yard punt, about 33 of it on a roll.
I tell you, if you do anything at this point in the Washington Redskins, besides catching the ball, just taking the ball, taking a knee, surround your quarterback with running back so nothing bad can happen, you're crazy. If you try to take a chance here, you got to have your head examined.
Redskins 4 dropped passes, and Trent Green has thrown 2 interceptions. One returned by Darian Gordon, 55 yards for a touchdown, and the last, another killer, as Trevor Price intercepted after Traylor and Burns had pressure on Trent Green.
And as bad as that punt was, and as bad as that decision was by Mitchell not to catch it, it wasn't critical. It wasn't a killing type mistake.
So we have reached the end of the first half. John Elway, a spectator here at Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. He has watched Bubby Brister and the Broncos jump out to a 17-point lead. They lead by 10 right now. Jim, Marcus, Brent, and George with all the scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the NASDAQ Halftime Report.
CBS Sports presentation of the NASDAQ Halftime Report is sponsored by the NASDAQ Stock Market.
Welcome back to the CBS Broadcast Center in New York and the NASDAQ Halftime Report. Now, a reminder, we'll be back next Sunday, noon Eastern, with another edition of the NFL Today, followed by regional NFL action. The game most of you will see at 1 Eastern, the Dolphins will be at the Meadowlands to face the Jets. 2 premier NFL coaches and their teams face off in a key early season battle in the AFC East. After 2 tough losses, the New York Jets rebounded last week with a blowout win over the Colts. They're hoping that momentum will carry over when they host the 3-0 Dolphins. Dan Marino is running a new-look Dolphin offense, combined with an aggressive young defense that shut out the previously unbeaten Steelers last Sunday. Both teams will come in next week promising a battle in the Meadowlands.
It's something special, and it's something, it's a game that obviously over the last couple of years we haven't had a lot of success with, so we want to change that.
You just look for a hard game. It's a division game, and it's up there. It's going to be loud. It's going to be tough. That's what you expect from the Jets.
And I think, with this rivalry thing happening now, I'm excited. I was telling one of the coaches I was hoping we didn't have this week off when we was playing Miami.
On the NFL Today, we were joined by the Jets Pro Bowl cornerback, Aaron Glenn. Big assignment for him next week, and the Jets going against Dan Marino, who has feasted on the Jets during his career, beat them both times last year. threw for almost 600 yards in the 2 wins, no interceptions. What about the Jets-Miami game?
Well, this is the must-win for the Jets. They have to play their best game, almost a perfect game, against a top-notch defense. They'll be tested this week.
The biggest move for the Jets during this bye week, Bill Parcells stepping up and saying, Glenn Foley's my man. Even though Vinny Testaverde threw for 4 touchdowns versus the Colts last week, there is no quarterback controversy in New York, at least this week.
Hey, guys, this is Jimmy Johnson's 3rd year in Miami. He's put together his best team. They're running the ball well. They're ranked number 3 in defense. They're going to be tough to beat.
And if they beat the Jets, they'd have a 3-game edge on the Jets this early in the season. That would be huge. All right, the NFL on CBS will continue on CBS in just a moment.
CBS Sports presentation of the NASDAQ Halftime Report is sponsored by the NASDAQ Stock Market.
As we continue here on the NASDAQ Halftime Report, good to have you with us. Jim Nantz here in New York. And let's remind you, the Broncos have won 26 straight when leading at halftime. And Marcus, how about that first half performance there by Denver?
Oh, well, nice jobs by the Broncos. Mike Shanahan does a great job of just mixing up the plays. And Bubby Brister does a great job. He couldn't roll out. I mean, John Elway couldn't roll out and done that play. Bubby Brister does. He has Ed McCaffrey. Got him off to a good start, playing good defense. Picks off an interception by, pressured by Romanowski, picks off an interception, goes the distance. They're playing well.
Let's get everyone caught up on what else is happening here in the NFL today. The Chiefs and the Eagles starting Rodney Peete at quarterback. He's thrown for 83 yards, and on the first series of the day, he drove his team down the field 70 yards. It ended with a Deuce Staley touchdown run, just the 2nd touchdown in 4 games for Philadelphia this year. Schottenheimer's team came back, though, and here's the handoff to Bennett. And that's all it's been so far in this game, George.
Yeah, both lines in those situations did a good job getting off into their defensive players and locking onto those blocks. I think the interesting thing here is how well Philadelphia's playing. Can they carry it over into the second half?
All right, the Raiders and the Cowboys are now into the 3rd quarter, and Dallas has been held to 76 yards total offense. Meanwhile, Napoleon Kaufman has 78 yards alone rushing. And how about Jason Garrett, you ask? 51 yards passing.
Jim, Eric Allen's been all over the field for the Raiders in the first half. That's got to be the story. The Raiders defense have kept the Cowboys out of the end zone. You see Darrell Russell right here like a hot knife through butter. Nobody even blocked him, sacking Jason Garrett.
On Monday night, it was Dion making the spectacular play, but this time the Raiders show them something.
Kevin Smith on James Jett like white on rice, but the ball bounces off the back of his shoulder. James Jett grabs the ball. Not even Dion can catch him to the end zone. Oakland has a lot of momentum, Jim, going into the halftime here up 10-3.
10-3 now into the 3rd. Green Bay at Carolina, and twice the Packers have been stopped on 4th and 1. And Favre has been picked off twice. One was run back for a touchdown by Eric Davis. Jacksonville and Tennessee, and McNair outperforming Brunell so far. Brunell with only 42 yards passing. McNair 164 in the first half, Brent.
The Jags talked all week about playing their Dare McNair defense, trying to make him make plays down the field with an 8-man line. He's hit Yancey Thigpen twice, 2 big scores for Thigpen. He has 92 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns already at halftime. And you don't think Cordell Stewart would love to have this guy back in Pittsburgh? I think he would.
And Mark Brunell, after a McNair interception, threw his 2nd touchdown pass to McCardle, and the Oilers lead in that game 19-14. The Saints and the Colts, the 2 old SEC rivals, Warfel with 7 yards passing. That's all. Manning 142 yards passing. Arizona and the Rams. Arizona exploded for 17 points in the 2nd quarter, leading on the road 17-10. We'll continue here on CBS. Back to Washington after this word from your local station.
We come to you from Jack Kent Cooke Stadium in Rowjon, Maryland, suburbs of Washington, D.C., getting ready for the 3rd quarter. The Broncos jumped out to a 17-0 lead. Redskins came back and scored 1, threatened to score another. Now down by 10. Expectations for the 3rd quarter.
Well, it's all about the 3rd quarter if you're the Washington Redskins. I mean, stats-wise, they're ahead. What else is new with the Washington Redskins? But they've been outscored 42-7 in the first 3 games in the 3rd quarter. That's 2 reasons. 1, the mistakes, the dumb mistakes, of which we've seen a few. And 2, conditioning is when it starts to show in the 3rd quarter. We'll see in this hot day how that comes. But look at total yards, 230 yards. Time of possession, they're actually up on them. But they've made the big mistakes which have really, really hurt them. Whether it's penalties to cost themselves a field goal, or when you look at the big plays of the first half, it's pretty obvious where they were coming. Bubby Brister escaping the pressure. McCaffrey making a nice catch. And then taking advantage of an offense. You get the right blitz, you get pressure from Omanowski, and Darian Gordon takes us one the distance for another touchdown. And late, a mistake, driving the ball. You've shown the pride, you've shown some poise, you've shown you can do it, but you make the mistake. Trevor Price intercepting Trent Green.
An all too familiar story for the Redskins, now minus 10 turnovers for the season for Bubby Brister. Nice conservative game plan of the terrific opening march as he learned late that he would start in place of John Elway today. It's Brister's first start as a quarterback since 1995 when he was with the Jets.
You saw what that offense had done in the first half, 160-something odd yards. 136 of them were in the first quarter. So the defense for the Redskins did a nice job on Mike Shanahan's offense. So this is what they have to do coming out, is right now, go, establish a tone, establish a pace.
John Elway came out, tried to go, went through the pregame warm-ups and said, nope, not today. Here's the kick by Kerry Blanchard, taken by Vaughn Hebron inside the 5. He's got a lot of room, and here goes Hebron. Out to the 45, down at the 47-yard line.
You know, one of the running jokes on the special teams of Rick Dennison's and the Denver Broncos is the fact that no one has returned a kickoff for a touchdown since 1972 for the Denver Broncos. And here when Devon Hebron catches the ball to the right, the middle return is set up very well. The blocking is excellent. He starts to come into the clear and then realizes that traffic is the best place to be. This one won't be broken also, but great field position for Bubby in the offense.
In contrast to that, the Redskins gave up a 90-yard kickoff return to Steve Broussard at Seattle last week. They're dead last in the league in kickoff return coverage. Here's Brister into the flat to Rod Smith. And he is out of bounds at the 46-yard line. We check in with Michelle Tafoya.
All right, Verne. Well, at halftime, Mike Shanahan told me his team sure started off well, but after going up 17-0, they lost momentum. He simply wants his players to regain their focus and their energy. As for Norv Turner, he wants his team to just keep fighting. He said, we can't continue to self-destruct once we get inside the 30-yard line. Back up to you guys.
All right, Michelle, 2nd down and 3 from the Washington 46 now, the first drive of the 3rd quarter.
Concentrating and intensity are not light switches. You don't turn them on and off. You show flaws when once you've lost it, you have another mental fade that costs you a big play.
Fake toss, Brister rolls right, looks back to his left, goes across the middle, incomplete for Shannon Sharp, well covered by Ken Harvey. And it will be 3rd down.
Hey, Mike Nolan's the defensive coordinator for the Washington Redskins, and he does not have a real attacking defense. It's not a real blitz at all costs, give you all kinds of crazy looks like Greg Robinson will on the other side for the Broncos. And what Nolan is doing so far is he's really attacking this offense for the Denver Broncos with a base look, getting good pressure inside from his tackles.
Willie Green goes wide to the left. This is Rod Smith in motion. Blitz coming. They flip it out for Terrell Davis, who moves down the sidelines after he controls the football. Marcus Patton makes the tackle, but Davis picks up a 1st down.
Just another thing, that this running back, Terrell Davis, out of the University of Georgia, impressed from the first day he got to the Denver Broncos in the fact that he could block, he could catch out of the backfield. He didn't mind playing special teams. He presented Mike Shanahan a total package. Over a couple-week period, Mike Shanahan began to appreciate how total the package was, and he became a starter.
Double tight end set on 1st down. McCaffrey out of the backfield. They hand it off to Davis, and he goes left. And he got a huge block. Here's Terrell Davis. Stanley Richard tries to catch him, does too late. Touchdown, TD. That's his 6th of the season. This one comes on a 42-yard romp.
Verne, we talked about the edges of the defense being a problem. The analogy that fits it is the banana. The banana has to be sitting one way with the ends tipped up. That means nothing can spill over the edges. But if the banana is turned the other way, that means everything spills off the edges of the banana. And the edges were spilling down on that banana.
That analogy came to us with Stanley Richard yesterday, and he said, we're having trouble on the corners containing the run. You saw an example of it. Jason Elam's extra point is up and good. Terrell Davis gets his 6th touchdown on the ground in 1998. Redskin defensive tackles on the bench. That time, Terrell Davis got to the outside. And a 42-yard run gives Washington a 24-7 lead. Here's the kick from Jason Elam. That chases Brian Mitchell all the way back in to the end zone. Now let's go back for a banana lesson. Randy?
Well, Stanley Richards talked about the banana. You mentioned it. The ends have to be like this. These guys and these guys have to make the end of the banana go up. What happens? The banana ends up being bent the other way. Watch the inside of the defense press forward, and suddenly the banana breaks, and it breaks on the ends, and it breaks on the outside. And Terrell Davis goes 38 yards before someone finally gets a hand on him, but it's all too little too late.
With the run, Terrell Davis doubles his output for the day. He's now got 84. And here is Terry Allen trying to break through. Neil Smith, who is back in the lineup after a knee injury in the first half, made the tackle. Providing today's shots from above is the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes. The Goodyear Blimp, now in its 4th decade of live sports coverage. And we are in Raljon, Maryland, this marvelous new Jack Kent Cooke Stadium in its 2nd year of operation. First visit for us. Kind of nice.
It's a beautiful stadium. I just wish for Mr. Cooke, and Jack Kent Cooke was extremely hands-on involved building this. I just sort of hope the Redskins and their fans had a better team to put in this beautiful stadium.
Here's Steven Davis out of the backfield, comes left, and gets it out to the 29-yard line. The tackle made by John Mobley and Steve Atwater, a couple of the iron cogs in this Redskin defense.
We talked about how critical the 3rd quarter is to the Redskins. Coming into this game being outscored 42-7 in the 3rd quarter. Now 49-7 being outscored in the 3rd quarter. Trent Green in the offense needs to start padding the backside. You see, the stats aren't bad for Trent Green. It's the interceptions and the mistakes that have hurt the offense. They've had the poise and the patience. They've been effective.
3rd and 1, Washington. Up the middle, that'll move the chains, and there's a flag, so it might not. That might come back. Oh, boy, they have a hammer lock on the self-destruct button.
That has got holding written all over it.
Norv Turner in his 5th season as the head coach here.
Number 77, offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
In case you're keeping track there, Trey Johnson, 77, the left guard, is now up to 30 yards in penalties called against him. If you do this in any part of the football field, you don't want to do it here. 3rd and 1, it wasn't severe. Trevor Price wasn't being manhandled, but you grab a guy by the outside shoulder, you pull him back like that, the umpire's going to see it, they're going to throw the flag. That is a dumb mistake. That's a lack of discipline. That starts from the head down.
3rd and 11, and it will be 4th and about 5. So yet again, the penalties proved deadly to the Washington Redskins. And the ire of the crowd begins to spill forth. Norv Turner, as we said, in his 5th season, he signed a contract extension, so he is under contract through 2001. There's been a lot of speculation in this town about his future. I chatted with him as recently as before the game. He says he doesn't feel like he's under the gun. Now, at the end of the year, maybe, if they don't turn this thing around.
Somebody around here needs to kick some of these guys in the backside and get their undivided attention, because they're not paying attention.
A 45-yard punt, nothing on the return. Broncos rolling 24-7.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Air, Jeep, and by Stanley.
Well, new episode of Everybody Loves Raymond coming up on Monday night. We invite you to stay tuned for the well-loved comedy Everybody Loves Raymond, Monday, 9 o'clock, 8 Central. Uh-oh. That's not a good sign. First time I saw this was New Orleans.
New Orleans. It's become sort of the trend, but I think that about sums it up.
Yeah.
I mean, new building or not, this is not a very disciplined football team. This is a team making a lot of stupid mistakes. And that's not only the coaches and the organization's fault, it's also the players.
1st and 10, Bobby Brister and the Broncos. Brister, his first start in a Denver uniform, but the 3rd week in which he has played. John Elway with the injured hamstring in week 2 against Dallas, and then re-injured the hamstring in week 3 against Oakland. Tried to come out, went through warm-ups today. Brister telling us last night that he got not a majority of the reps, but a lot of the repetitions in practice the last 2 weeks.
It's so critical, too, because it's a tough situation to be a backup quarterback in the NFL. It's probably a little bit easier to be a backup quarterback in Denver or San Francisco or some of these places that have the all-time great-time quarterbacks like a John Elway. Bobby knows he's not the guy. But when you get an injury and a chance to play, he knows he can get his reps.
2nd and 9. Handoff. Terrell Davis comes right and cut down to the 24-yard line. Well, we were chatting with both Howard Griffin and Terrell Davis last night about how they have maintained discipline among the team. So they've instituted a fine system among themselves. This is not something that started with the coaching staff. And it's automatic. You get a fine if you miss an assignment, if you drop a ball in practice. And Howard Griffin said the real fine, though, is when you debate the call. You get fined for sensitivity. Double the money.
I imagine they got some guys like Shannon Sharp that can be very sensitive about being fined.
Yes. 3rd and 7. Brister looking left all the way. Fires it for Shannon Sharp. And he picks up a 1st down out to the 33-yard line. The tackle made by Marcus Patton. And a 9-yard gain.
Nice pattern run by Shannon Sharp, though. He lines up at the right tight end position, comes straight across the field. Watch it. The defense throws backwards. It's a zone defense. Why not drag your great tight end underneath and let's see what he can do. Nice job by Willie Green blocking on Darryl Green on the corner, and that sets up those last couple of yards for Shannon Sharp. But it's just one of the things they do with this offense. It's not just down the field. It's not just little outs. They drag receivers around. They make defenses make decisions.
5 receptions now for Sharp. Bit of a play fake for Brister. Goes deep right side for McCaffrey. And he's got Chris Dishman beat. Chris Dishman bit on the pump, and McCaffrey makes the grab. A 41-yard gain, Brister to McCaffrey.
It was excellent protection. It's a nice pass, but Ed McCaffrey showed you some of that transformation from the possession-type receiver they thought he was to the receiver he is now, which is the receiver with the ability to what they refer to in the business as play a cornerback. And Dishman, 26, the cornerback, has been played by McCaffrey.
41 yards, 1st down at the 26, and a 24-7 lead. Terrell Davis looking for his 3rd 100-yard game of the season, and he adds another 6 or 7 as he gets to the 16-yard line.
Leomont Evans was the last resort of defense there that Terrell Davis barreled into. Remember, yeah, it becomes so commonplace to us now, especially in this business, to watch Terrell Davis on a regular basis, 100 yards. Here's a guy that's just in his, going into his 4th year. He's got 22 100-yard games so far in his very brief NFL career.
Well, he's 4 yards away from his 23rd. In his 49th game. Here's Terrell Davis. And he's going to have to wait till the next carry to cross the 100-yard mark.
One thing that makes that more interesting to me, too, is a 1,000-yard rusher is a big deal in the league. You know, for a running back to get 1,000 yards, that's a huge deal. Figure it out. If you got a calculator or you're good at long math or whatever, divide 1,000 by 16. Comes out to be a little over 60 yards a game. That's not that big of a deal. I mean, a guy like Terrell Davis can get 60 yards in a run, which he did twice against the Dallas Cowboys. 60-yard plus a couple weeks ago at Mile High Stadium.
Gets a breather here. Derek LaVille comes into the backfield on 1st down. 24-7 Denver. Play action. Brister into the flat. Howard Griffin. Touchdown for the 2nd week in a row. And a flag is thrown after the score is accomplished. Stanley Richard, number 24, was covering.
Well, this was double dumb. First dumb move is they run this play action.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 24, late hit out of bounds. That penalty was assessed on the kickoff.
First one is there's nobody out there to cover the receiver. That's stupid. Then you're so frustrated because you didn't get over there or no one got over there, you hit the guy out of bounds. That is double stupid.
Now Jason Elam to try and add 1 point to the lead. Tom Ruin will hold it for the extra point try. Howard Griffith in his second season with the Denver Broncos gets his second touchdown in as many games from Bubby Brister. Well, there will be no fines for these guys. Howard Griffith, Terrell Davis, another touchdown, and it's 31-7 Denver. Elam will kick off. Washington Redskins second half woes continue. They've now been outscored by 49 points in the third quarters of 4 games.
You know the term chum? You throw chum in the water to draw fish. Watch Sterling Sharp, or Shannon Sharp, now known as Chum, draw the entire side of the Washington Redskins defense. Look at this. 4 guys right in the same area. Hey, see that guy there? They're giving him the ball.
That could have been Sterling Sharp and Shannon Sharp.
Well, they both would have been all open. Bubby getting a little excited. Give that man pom-poms.
First down and 10, Redskins. Here's Trent Green. Out it goes to Jamie Asher, the tight end. He is down at the 28-yard line. Tackle made by John Mobley, number 51. Well, we continue our coverage of college football next Saturday, the NASDAQ college football game. Fourth-ranked Tennessee goes into Auburn. That's Saturday, 3 o'clock Eastern Time here on CBS.
I live in the South now in Atlanta, home of that religion known as college football.
Yes. They take it serious. But you're still a Bruin at heart, right?
Oh, absolutely.
2nd and 1. This one pops out. Whistle had blown. Marvin Washington, Glenn Cudrez. And by the way, congratulations to you. Randy Cross is being inducted into the UCLA Athletics Hall of Fame next Saturday in Los Angeles. That's a well-deserved honor.
Well, it's fun. It's fun. It was a great school that's always been known as a basketball school for a long time. When I was there, started to get the program back under Dick Vermeil and Terry Donahue, who works for CBS on those college games we're talking about, and Bob Toledo now has got that program back where it belongs. They're looking excellent. They played Washington State last week after an unexpected bye, where they were supposed to play Miami yesterday down there, but because of Hurricane George, they canceled all that.
Yeah, the George hurricane wiped out the UCLA-Miami game.
Well, our thoughts, too, go out to those people down there in Louisiana and New Orleans area where it's headed.
Rod Milstead limped off. Here's Trent Green. And he completes that pass for a first down on the right side to Michael Westbrook, number 82.
Now, we haven't seen much from Westbrook in the last, 2.5 quarters? He's generally a guy you want to involve early. You want to get him out down the field. It's the second time, both times against Ray Crockett. It was basically just a deep out on the sideline. They've gotten the ball to Michael Westbrook. He's a guy, you've got to get him involved. Came into the game as one of the top receivers in the NFL early, and it's just the mistakes and some things around this organization and this football team, with my background sort of watching the team under Gibbs and the great Redskin teams, just doesn't jive. This does not look like a Redskins football team.
Well, they have had, among other things, disastrous first-round choices in the 90s. Michael Westbrook, one of only 2 since 92, still with the ball club. I guess the litany of 4 choices begins with Desmond Howard, goes on to Andre Johnson, Tom Carter. Michael Westbrook is with the ball club. So is Kennard Lang, but it's not been a really nice list. Ray Crockett makes the tackle. Terry Allen with the carry.
Well, this whole situation, Verne's got to be especially frustrating to guys like Terry Allen, the veterans that have been here for a while. Terry Allen, Darrell Green. You see Darrell Green is on the sideline talking to the players a lot in the timeouts. When the offense is on the sideline before a kickoff, he's on there talking to the offense, getting them pumped up. Terry Allen's trying to lead by example, but those many examples, like the great ones, like the Allens and the future Hall of Famer Darryl Green, just is not working. It's not enough.
Max blitz, here they come. Romanowski, that's a fumble, a loose ball. Jamie Asher, I think, recovered, but Bill Romanowski knifed through, made the initial contact on Trent Green, and another near disaster.
Well, this is the leanest, best conditioned defending Super Bowl champion team I have ever seen, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and especially when you're looking at a guy like Romanowski. Completely clean. Completely clean. No one even breathes on him. Bad Badger, the left tackle on the left side of that line, doesn't get a head, doesn't get a helmet on him. And against athletes that are this well conditioned and this intense, you're going to get somebody killed.
3rd and 12, four-man rush coming. Green being chased, goes right. Mahatanabasu almost had him. And Green, nice job. And that last little move to the left allows him, I think, to pick up a first down.
Well, the critical part there, Verne, is his quarterbacks would slide feet first, the ball be marked where the feet started to go down. Trent Green goes down forward. He gets the pressure. It's coming from Tanavasa inside. Trevor Price on the outside, who just cannot quite get him. But watch the forward leap for that first down. I mean, John Elway, remember the helicopter move in the Super Bowl last year and how the players said how much that pumped them up? You see your quarterback make those kinds of moves where he's giving up his body. That shows you how much he cares.
First down and 10. Green back again. Screen pass, left side. Terry Allen has to go down to the ankles. He fumbles and then picks it up. Oh, boy. Looks like bumper pool.
Keith Burns comes from that inside linebacker position and just barely got a hand on Terry Allen. Screen set up fairly well. Tanavasa is getting in Trent Green's face, but Terry Allen does a nice job. Now watch Burns. That ball's coming out before Burns even gets near him. That's mental. Folks, that is not a physical error. That's not where, well, the point of the ball was a little slick or whatnot. That is not concentrating.
Second down, 3. 31-7 Denver. Reverse. Westbrook to Leslie Shepard. Here comes Shepard. He's got two blockers in front, including Corey Raymer. And they get the ball down to the 12-yard line. A 29-yard gain after Westbrook slipped the ball to Leslie Shepard.
Well, we have trickery. But watch Trent Green on this play. For all the movement back and forth, you've got the fake here to him. You got the handoff from Westbrook to Shepard. Look at Trent Green getting a little block on Tanavasa. You dive forward for the first down, and when it comes time for you to throw a block, you give it up a little bit. Yeah, there's a little cringe in there. He's not nuts about it, but he's willing to go in there and get it. Sometimes you just got to be willing to be an obstacle.
Stephen Davis in the backfield now gets the handoff, and he is jammed hard by Seth Joyner, number 99, longtime pro who was acquired from Green Bay just before the start of the regular season. Seth Joyner, who spent all those marvelous years with the Eagles, then with Arizona. He followed Buddy Ryan down there. Thought he was going to get a Super Bowl ring, and how the ironies abound. Went to Green Bay, did not get the Super Bowl ring last year, and now winds up with a Bronco team that's trying to get a second.
And a great player like a Seth Joyner loves to see a running back leave their feet like that. They lose all their power, and they're just waiting, begging to get planted.
Pass for Alexander. That was, I think, catch. CBS Sportsline puts you inside the game. From late-breaking news and in-depth team reports to sortable stats, get 24-hour NFL coverage on cbs.sportsline.com.
The best thing about that sportsline.com, you being a neophyte computer guy,
yes,
are newspaper articles, and they've got some great people writing stuff for teams and situations all around the league, and then AP's acquired.
Hey, I'm going to join the 20th century before it's over. I'm getting there.
You're running out of time.
I know. Well, and years. First the eyes, then the ears. 31-7.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Microsoft and by Propecia.
We are not far from Iwo Jima Memorial in downtown Washington. We're at Jack Kent Cooke Stadium in Raljon, Maryland, named by the late Jack Kent Cooke for his two sons, Ralph and John. John now the owner of the club, and the Independents here today. Third down. Here's Green back to throw. This is the 11th play of the drive, and a sack and a fumble. This is Neil Smith. And there's the salute to George Brett that he kept even after he came over to from Kansas City.
And they've never played baseball in this stadium, Neil. In the old RFK Stadium, the Senators, maybe. You could buy that. But what a nice job. Neil Smith's knee is obviously feeling a little bit better because he cleanly beats on the outside. Number 67, Pordennis.
Kerry Blanchard on to try the field goal. Remember, a long, long time ago, he had made one. It was wiped out by a penalty. And so here is Blanchard's attempt, and this one is good. But that is small solace after a long drive by the Redskins. They need a bunch of threes to get back in this ball game. 31-10. Final 59 seconds, quarter number 3 from Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. And the Redskins now trailing by 21, 31-10. Blanchard kicks it off. Von Hebron waits for it and grabs it a yard deep. Hebron out to the 10. A flag. 2 flags are down. So we've got a couple of flags down, and so is Hebron. And here's Bill Carollo to let us know what happened. As soon as he's told. Yep.
We've got a couple of injuries down on the field, too. Verne is 2 of the Washington Redskins.
James Jenkins is one of them, number 88.
And Barber, the linebacker.
Number 28 on the return team. 10-yard penalty. First down.
And while they mark off the penalty, we're going to go back to New York. Here's an NFL update with Jim Nance.
Well, Verne and Randy, just 2 minutes ago in St. Louis. Yes, he's done it again. Mark McGwire with his 4th home run in 3 days. Number 69 is out of here. Sammy Sosa, by the way, 1 for 1 today with an RBI single. And let's go back to Washington.
All right, Jim, I think what Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa have done this year is, I'm thinking of someone who got his name wrong the other day. And now I did.
Yeah, the best thing about that whole deal is how positive it's made everybody feel about, with all the other baloney, and this has been the capital of baloney and junk. With everything else that's been going on, everybody feels so good about that. If you're not even a baseball fan, if you're not even a sports fan, you feel good about those guys because those guys have been so fantastic. And it's been a character thing about 2 really good people having an honest race.
Now let's check in with Michelle Tafoya.
Well, guys, Bubby Brister had a very brief baseball career. He was drafted right out of high school by the Detroit Tigers, and while he was in the minors, one of his managers was Jim Leland, currently with the Florida Marlins. And I asked Jim Leland about Brister's baseball talents. I'll tell you what he told me after this play.
We're going to let him throw the football or hand it off first. He's going to hand it off, and it goes to Terrell Davis. And let's go back to Michelle for the completion of the story.
Well, as I said, I asked Jim Leland for his assessment of Brister's baseball talent. His response was, quote, "I love Bubby, but he's playing football, isn't he?" Brister laughed about it and acknowledged he's glad he abandoned baseball in favor of going back to college to pick up football again. Back upstairs to you, Verne.
All right, Michelle, that was in 1982. He played for Jim Leland at St. Petersburg. I was laughing. Senator Ted Kennedy was trying to pay tribute to these 2 home run sluggers this year, and he referred publicly earlier in the week to Mike McGwire and Sammy Souser. 31-10. Here's Bubby Brister. Ed McCaffrey makes another catch, and that'll be a first down for the Denver Broncos. But Brister, that's his left wrist or hand. May have hit his fingers on a helmet. That's the end of the 3rd quarter with our score. The Denver Broncos 31 and the Washington Redskins 10. We'll return to Jack Kent Cooke Stadium right after this message and a word from your local station. 21 as we get set for the start of the 4th quarter. Verne Lundquist, Randy Cross, Michelle Tafoya, and the last play.
Right there, Dana Stubblefield steps on Bubby Brister's left hand. You saw him wincing before he went away to commercial, and it's a lot of foot to be coming down on your left hand.
Bob Greasy's son, Brian Greasy, is the backup quarterback today, the third-round draft pick. Here's Terrell Davis. He's over 100 yards again today, third game in a row. You caught me, didn't you? I almost said that was Bob Greasy, didn't I?
The resemblance is striking, but not quite that striking. Now, and Mike Shanahan really loves that young quarterback out of Michigan. He's positive. You know, what you're seeing today may be the future of the Denver Broncos. Veteran quarterback and Bubby Brister being sort of a caretaker starter until Brian Greasy is ready to go as a starter. They think that much of him in Denver.
First down and 10. McCaffrey followed by Chris Dishman. Here's Bubby Brister going right and out of bounds on the carry. There's a flag up near the 39-yard line.
It's going to be defensive holding, I believe.
Holding, number 26 on the defense. It'll be a 5-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
And when teams get tired or people get beat and things get tough, people grab. That does not happen on the good teams.
What's worse than going on a diet? Well, going on a diet with your wife, it says here. See the new hit comedy the critics and audiences are raving about. The King of Queens, Monday at 8:30, 7:30 Central, right after Cosby, here on CBS. Dishman in the Pro Bowl last year, along with Darrell Green. And guilty of the holding call on the last play.
Notice who they haven't thrown at today is Darrell Green. First 3 weeks, people went after Darrell Green off and on, and he told them why and taught them why they don't do that anymore.
Here's the handoff to Davis coming to the left side. Darrell Green misses the tackle on Terrell Davis. And Davis up to the 41. 9-yard gain.
You know, what makes Terrell Davis so dangerous is this play is supposed to go to the right side of the football field. And Darrell Green made the play, but he's so close. You don't go after Darrell Green, but here's why. He's all over. First McCaffrey, then Rod Smith. And his speed helped him on that last run support also because he was way inside and managed to push Terrell Davis out for that game.
16th year as a starter. 28th pick in the first round in 1983. A guy named Elway was picked first that year.
Well, Eric Brown is starting at safety for the Denver Broncos. He's the rookie starting for a defending Super Bowl champion. Darrell Green is the last rookie to start for a defending Super Bowl champion.
Irv Turner was saying about him, and I think we both agree that the day he retires, the clock starts ticking. And then 5 years later, he's going to walk onto a stage in Canton, Ohio.
Well, they were talking about Darrell Green being a Hall of Fame cornerback when guys like Joe Montana were still playing quarterback in this league. So he's been the sort of the mark everybody else measures their defensive players by. I mean, nowadays, see this number right here? The 0 sacks. 0 sacks is something that's different because of the style of defenses people are playing.
First down and 10, Denver. They're up 31-10. And the handoff goes to Terrell Davis, and he's near the 49-yard line. Or Derek LaVille, beg your pardon, as Davis gets a rest.
And this is what you're going to see out of the Denver Broncos the rest of the way. They are a well-conditioned football team. Conditioning is not a factor for Mike Shanahan's team. You run the ball and you pound it at the other guys and you completely wear them down and take the football game out of them.
Remember what he told us yesterday in the off-season workout program? 36 players on the Broncos did not miss a scheduled workout.
Yeah, 19 of them only missed one. So it's incredible what great shape this team is in such good shape you'd think they weren't the defending champ. They were the ones that got beaten this season.
Brister chased by Kennard Lang and has to throw it away.
But it was past the line of scrimmage. The crowd wants grounding, but the ball went past the line of scrimmage. One more time. See the line of scrimmage right here about the 49-yard line. And a short little boot out, just a quick roll. He's getting the quick pressure in his face from Kennard Lang, but he gets rid of that ball and he makes sure it goes far enough. Bubby
Brister, 14 of 20 for the day, 106 yards, 2 touchdowns. 3rd and 7. Brister wings it left side. Darrell Pounds, number 31, knocks it away. It'll be 4th down. It was intended for Willie Green. So with 11:52 remaining in this one, the Redskins are going to get it back, but they trail 31-10. Denver playing the teams in the NFC East this year. They're back home in Mile High next week against Philadelphia.
Interesting note, too, Mike Shanahan in his brief career as a head coach between Denver and the Raiders, but especially with Denver, had never won a game on the road against an NFC East team. He's yet to win this one, but he's getting awfully close.
Tom Ruin, wow, sails it, and on one hop, it goes through the crossbar. 50-yard punt, nothing on the return. A one-hopper for Tom Ruin. 11 minutes and 42 seconds left in regulation. The Broncos lead by 21. Broncos lead at 31-10. They were up 17-7 at halftime, scored in their first 2 possessions of the 3rd quarter. Now the Bronco defense on the field as Trent Green and the Redskins go back to work. Here's Green. Catch is made short at the 24-yard line, and Glenn Cadrez makes the tackle on Terry Allen. Well, coming up next Sunday, the NFL on CBS. Most of you will see Miami against the New York Jets. That one up in New York at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Some of you will watch the Oakland-Arizona game. That gets a 4 o'clock Eastern Time start. That's the NFL on CBS next Sunday afternoon.
A lot of people out in this league, I think, want to see how good that Miami defense is. We saw them last week. I happen to think they're pretty good.
2nd down and 6, and a fumble. Let's see who got it. It would appear the Broncos have recovered, yes. 2 interceptions and now a fumble. And for the 4th consecutive game, the Washington Redskins have turned it over 3 times.
You know, as Norv Turner's team sort of trips down the yellow brick road here on the way to Oz, we see the exchange here between Raymer and Trent Green. As they move down this yellow brick road, you can't quite figure out who's with Dorothy, the one that needs the heart or the one that needs the brain.
That is the 4th fumble by Trent Green since he became a starter. This his 3rd start. And the fumble on the exchange with Corey Raymer. 12 giveaways now by the Redskins. The Broncos, in contrast, this season have lost 1 fumble and had 1 pass interception. Backs are split. Brister. Handoff goes to Derek LaVille, who stays on the field offensively. Now, we not only have the NFL for you on CBS next Sunday, on Saturday, the NASDAQ College football game will feature 4th-ranked Tennessee. The Volunteers go south to take on Auburn. That's Saturday, 3 o'clock Eastern Time here on CBS.
You think they're still celebrating in Knoxville by beating Florida?
Yeah. Yeah, the sudden death game. I know Phil Fulmer is 2nd down, 11. Rod Smith in motion wide right. Brister rolls that direction, pulls up, lets it go. And it's bobbled and almost caught by Ed McCaffrey, but it goes incomplete. Darrell Green was defending.
Well, if you have any question as to whether or not Bubby Brister has a very powerful arm, can he put enough zip and heat on a ball to get it into a tight spot into a defense? How would you like to be on the other end of this thing? I mean, that is what's known in baseball as a high-rising fastball, and Rod Smith ain't got a prayer.
Bubby Brister was a pitcher in baseball in high school. They made him a shortstop when he was with the St. Petersburg team. He also spent time with Bristol in the Appalachian League. He said that was awful.
That was his first hint that maybe football was in his future.
Right. Here's Brister, and he drills it to Shannon Sharp, who breaks the tackle and gets to the 10. Stanley Richard and Greg Evans, numbers 24 and 27, get there, but Sharp, the tight end, with a 15-yard gain.
There's so much burn in this football game, just in general for the players, is the want to, having the smarts of being in the right spot, and when you're in the right spot, wanting to make the play and not allowing yourself to be taken down. A lot of want to by Shannon Sharp, and for a long time, Shannon Sharp has done the right things in this NFL. Interestingly here, though, Verne, only 1 guy in that group. Kellen Winslow, those great tight ends, is in the Hall of Fame.
Here's the handoff to LaVille. He comes to the left, spins, and is down at the 5-yard line. Darrell Green with a tackle. We may have seen the last of Terrell Davis for the day, and Green a little slow getting up. What an admirable man he is, Darrell Green, on and off the field. A javelina, remember that? Texas A&I in Kingsville.
Now Texas A&M in Kingsville.
Right.
Talked to him about that before the game. He kind of shook his head as it still doesn't sound right.
Second down and 4, 31-10. We've reached the 9-minute mark. Time remaining here in the fourth quarter. Backs in the eye. LaVille comes left. Griffith blocking. He cuts back, spins, drives, and is down at the 1. It will be third down. Marcus Patton and Derek Smith make the tackle this time. Well, the Broncos about to score again and salt this one. 31-10 they lead. They will equal San Francisco as the only teams in the 90s to go to a 4-0 start in defense of the Super Bowl championship. Now, you've been through that. How tough is that to defend, and what happens on a weekly basis?
I tell you, it's extremely difficult. It's a lot of pressure because you know, as Mike Shanahan pointed out to us last night, you get everybody's best every single week. It was so smart the way he's handled the offseason in general. He made it a football conditioning offseason, and his team has come back so hungry. As you see the Broncos get that first down inside the 1-yard line. This team has come back so hungry, like I said just a little while ago, you would swear talking to them and being around these players and coaches that they were the team that lost the Super Bowl last year, and they're motivated by failure. I mean, it's very admirable, and it's very remarkable of what he's done.
Redskins 12 turnovers, resulting 52 points, and Darrell Green on the sideline.
Coming into this game, 10 teams in the league hadn't given up 45 points as a team, much less off turnover.
Touchdown, Denver. Derek LaVille gets his first of 1998.
Make that 59 points off of turnovers so far in 1998. The first run by Derek LaVille was a lot of want to. Got him down to that 2-foot line or so to get the first down. Here it's a great job by the offensive line. Look at Tony Jones, big number 77. Give LaVelle that great hole to get into. Just wonderful execution as LaVelle is congratulated there by Gary Kubiak, the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach of the Broncos.
Jason Elam with the extra point. John Elway is going to enjoy the rest of this and then have a nice trip back to the Mile High City.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Coors Light, Staples, and by Honda.
Jefferson Memorial in downtown Washington, D.C. We're about 12-15 miles to the east in Raljon, Maryland, Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. And Jason Elam getting ready to kick it deep to Brian Mitchell. Mitchell comes right, takes it 2 yards into the end zone, and will bring it out. Which he does to the 25-yard line, and the Redskins will take over. But they trail 38-10 with 8 minutes and 6 seconds left in regulation. Broncos about to go 4-0. Redskins 0-4. Broncos lead at 38-10 with 8:06 to go in the fourth quarter. They will go 4-0 and Washington 0-4. This one is remarkably reminiscent to the Redskins home game on Monday night against the 49ers.
It really is. They're making mistakes against a good football team, and they're paying for it. It's just really terrible to look at what this football team is doing as far as the mistakes they're making and what they're really not getting an opportunity to do. But here they do.
Westbrook from Green. Touchdown.
There's a flag down around the 40-yard line, but I think it's going to be defensive pass interference or holding.
75 yards if the play stands. Trent Green, Michael Westbrook. They hooked up for 2 last week.
Interference, number 21. That penalty is declined. The result of the play, a touchdown.
Well, there's a leap of faith if I've ever seen one. They need a lot more than that.
It's a nice executed late play by the Washington Redskins because Trent Green Now you can appreciate why this young man's got the yards he does. But at this point, at 38, now almost 17 against the defending Super Bowl champions, a big play like this is just sort of like putting earrings on a pig.
And calling it Peggy Sue. 38-16, and the Redskins might be going for 2 here. 75 yards, Green to Westbrook.
If they had a shot, they'd go for 22 here.
Yeah. Greg Robinson, defensive coordinator of the Broncos, 7:56 to go.
His defense, Greg Robinson's defense, was caught a little bit surprised, a little flat-footed by the fact that they were going for 2.
Broncos call time to get their right alignment on the field. We'll be back in a moment.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Fidelity Investments and by Castrol Syntec.
More than half-empty stadium, Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. Most of the folks have headed out to the parking lots, but they're going to miss the Washington Redskins' first 2-point conversion of the season. Matter of fact, in the last 2 years, Ryan Mitchell is the deep back. Leslie Shepard in motion. Here's Green into the end zone, incomplete. So the score remains 38-16 Broncos with 8 minutes, just under 8 minutes to go.
You know, on that long touchdown play, though, from Trent Green to Michael Westbrook, take a look at this view. It's a great example. Look at Trent Green being able to watch all the way down the field his wide receiver, Michael Westbrook, win that pushing contest on the sideline, get the ball, go for 6. You know what? Trent Green is properly restrained. No jumping up and down, no celebrating. He's got that look in his face like, okay, it worked. It's not enough, but it worked.
Westbrook gets his 3rd touchdown catch in the last 2 games and 3 quarters. 38-16. Well, I have a feeling that many of the Redskin fans have given up in disgust at this, but a lot of the Bronco fans and people who live back in the Colorado area are watching with continued interest, among whom I happen to know watching this afternoon is Hall of Famer Doak Walker, former Heisman Trophy winner who was critically injured and paralyzed in a skiing accident back in January in Steamboat Springs. Doak is back home in Steamboat, still paralyzed, but I know that Doak and his wife Skeeter are watching this game, and we're thinking about you. Here's Blanchard's kick, and that one is through the end zone. Well, that's interesting. The one knock on Carey was his short kickoffs. Now let's check in with Michelle Tafoya.
Well, you know, Verne, I spoke with Kerry Blanchard before the game, and he told me he felt no pressure coming into this game. He said he felt more pressure being unemployed than he does being the 3rd kicker in this young season for the Redskins. If he had one concern, it was that until today he hadn't kicked off in 4 years. He says his hang time is there, and he'd been working on kicking the ball deeper, which it looks like it's paying off, guys.
That's right, Michelle. That's because when he was with Indianapolis, Chris Gardocki did all the kickoffs.
Well, he's obviously worked on his leg strength, but I know one thing he hasn't worked on too much: sit-ups.
Oh, dear. 1st and 10. Griffith and LaVille in the backfield. Terrell Davis done with 119 yards for the afternoon. And Davis scored on a 42-yard touchdown romp. Marcus Patton with that tackle. Coming up next Sunday, Week 5 of the NFL on CBS. Most of you will see Miami versus the New York Jets. That's the early game. Some of you will see the Oakland-Arizona game at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. The NFL on CBS next Sunday.
And I'm sure during the NFL today, what you'll see before those games, chances are you'll see Dan Marino in the Meadowlands torturing the New York Jets on that one, you know, so-called down the ball, throws it and gets a touchdown. Ooh, I bet the early line says that plays somewhere early.
Yeah. 2nd down and 3. Dana Stubblefield makes the tackle. Tony Jones, left tackle, who occupies the spot played with such excellence for so many years by Gary Zimmerman.
And they're working on his right knee. He wears that knee brace on that leg, and You see the ice towels and everything else. You've seen a lot of people here today so far getting up slow, being attended to, and you're seeing a lot of cramping, I believe. Guys in this heat, in this condition, and despite what great shape a lot of these Bronco players are, you can't help but get cramps when it gets this hot, and it is humid out here.
6:25 to go in regulation. McCaffrey comes in motion. Brister tosses it out to LaVille. He's got Dan Neal in front. Number 62, LaVille stopped on 3rd down. It'll be 4th as Kennard Lang and Derek Smith make the tackles.
You mentioned Gary Zimmerman. It's before the game sitting talking to Jeff Bostic, former center and for the Washington Redskins, and Mark Schlereth was there, and we started joking around about Zimmerman, and he smiles and says, well, actually, I heard Zimmerman's got himself a personal trainer. He started working out again. I'd heard that before, but...
Oh, he's out there. He's out there in Bend, Oregon.
Hey, 9 more games. They're going to look like you're going to win another Super Bowl. He might want to make a comeback.
Absolutely. Here's Tom Ruin. This one will be, well, it could be returned. Yes, it will be. Here's Brian Mitchell on one hop. Flags are down. Mitchell run out of bounds at the 42-yard line.
That was just for exercise. This penalty is going to be against the Washington Redskins. It's going to be illegal use of hands or holding. And it'll be about a 50-yard difference between where he ended up and where this ball is going to be.
Illegal block in the back. Number 25 on the return team. 10-yard penalty. Receivers will keep the ball, 1st down.
Sometimes these penalties are somewhere you can barely see it. Well, can you figure this one out? Do you think maybe Tim Denton might have had just a little bit of a push into Darius Johnson's back?
After the penalty, the ball at the 16-yard line. Bubby Brister. First start since 1995. He was telling us last night he can throw the ball as hard as John Elway. It's the other stuff. The recognition, defensive patterns, who's going to be where, 1 deep, 2 deep, 3 deep, cover 3, so on.
Plus the accuracy involved.
Yeah.
John Elway and Dan Marino are the only quarterbacks in the NFL that throw their body parts. Maybe Steve Young.
But that one incomplete to Terry Allen.
And they throw to specific parts. I mean, in that case, Trent Green just threw that ball to Terry Allen. Marino, Young, Elway, they throw that ball to the left wristband of Terry Allen to give him a chance to catch the ball. And that's the difference between the great Hall of Fame quarterbacks like a John Elway and Bubby Brister is a very good quarterback. But, you know, there's that natural ability, and Bubby's the first guy to say, I stand there at practice all the time saying, how does he do that?
2nd down and 10. Alexander starts in motion to the left. Here's Green back. Goes left for Alexander. And that's good out to the 25-yard line. It'll be 3rd down coming up. Keith Burns, number 56, makes the stop. Turner was talking about Elway with us last night. He said he remembered when North Turner, was on the staff at Southern California when John came out of high school. They recruited him. John decided to go to Stanford. His rookie year, he's playing Southern California. They have a couple of defensive backs named Dennis Smith and Ronnie Lott. Elway threw it 70 yards over Ronnie Lott into the end zone. Said it wasn't the length of the pass that was so astounding. It was the speed with which it was delivered.
They almost knocked Ken Marjoram, his receiver, over in the end zone with the ball from 70 yards away. And it hasn't lost much velocity on that gun either.
Prior to the snap, false start, right guard, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
That is the 8th penalty on the Redskins this afternoon.
That went against Rod Milstead. And, you know, Terrell Davis, we sort of closed the case on him, another 100-yard day. But Terrell Davis so far in 4 games, 489 yards rushing for the Denver Broncos. Any questions on what drives the Denver Broncos? A quick, aggressive defense, and that gentleman right there. 21 carries, 119 yards.
3rd down. Buried him. Back at the 7-yard line. Mike Lodish, number 97, got the sack. The third sack today for the Broncos.
Hey, I might mention another gentleman playing in the NFL out of UCLA, Mike Lotish, number 97, with a quick rip on Corey Raymer. The center gets in there for his part of a sack. Yeah, I spent a lot of time this week reading a lot of material about a lot of people and a lot of football teams and what people thought about this Washington Redskins team. A lot of reputable folks out there in our business and in the coaching industry thought this team could win the NFC East. The NFC East is not a terrible enough division that this team can win the NFC East.
Whoa. Here's Darian Gordon at the 31 now. Good block supplied by the Broncos, and Darian Gordon back to the 45-yard line, a 57-yard punt and 14 on the return. Well, back on June 16th last summer, the Denver Broncos visited the White House and President Bill Clinton to celebrate their victory in Super Bowl 32. Terrell Davis and the Broncos presented the president with his own Denver Broncos jersey. See owner Pat Bowen looking on. Mike Shanahan to the president's right. Now, among those who did not make that trip was this guy, John Elway. Said he had to have an MRI. Played a little golf at Inverness Country Club that day and caught a little flack back in Denver for that.
Well, you know, John Elway and his entire team and organization from Pat Bowen on down, though, is acting like they want to go back. They like that experience so much, those that made it, they would like to do it again.
1st and 10. Are you kidding me?
No, that was not called.
I didn't think so.
Because without a doubt, the most shocked person in the world when he turned around was Bubby Brister. There was no running back to hand that ball to.
Gary Kubiak, the last man to win a game for the Denver Broncos other than John Elway. That was in 1989 here.
Yeah, right here at the old RFK Stadium. You know, Kubiak's been mentioned this week, actually, as a possible candidate for that new Cleveland job that'll be opened up next year. There's a lot of people that will be considered. You know, the obvious, George Seifert from the studio. They're talking Holmgren. You know, people like Kippy Brown in Miami, Sherman Lewis in Green Bay. The list will grow significantly.
Here's the handoff to Von Hebron, and he is stopped by Marcus Patton. Today's overhead coverage, courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes. This year, Goodyear celebrating its 100-year anniversary and the 72nd consecutive year for its blimp operation.
It sounds like this thing right here ought to have like a little motor in it.
Yeah. You been in the blimp?
No. No, there are certain things you will never see me do, and that is right there near the top of the list. They ain't got wings on it, that have jet engines on it. I'm not getting on it.
You've just about assured yourself of an invitation now. Here's Brister to Von Hebron, and Hebron is down at the 49-yard line.
Well, they better bring security and sedatives. They think they're getting my big back end. Watch Bobby Brister now. He is getting some serious heat here. The Redskins are bringing it, and they're bringing it hard. But look what he's doing right here. I mean, he gets bent over from the legs. He gets bent over from the back. You got Williams, the safety, was in on that blitz, and he's had people more than a couple times grabbing onto him and holding him when he's throwing these footballs.
We have reached the 2-minute warning in Washington, D.C. Bubby Brister and the Broncos are going to fly home with an unblemished record. A couple of minutes from now, they'll be 4-0 in 1998. 38-16, Broncos lead it. They will be 4-0 and head back home for a home game against Philadelphia. And then 2 weeks from now, they get a test out in the Kingdome against Seattle. There's Tom Ruin on the punt, and for the Washington Redskins, an all too familiar pattern. They totaled a lot of yards and a lot of turnovers in the first half, and then had the fall aparts in the second half, and they're going to lose this one big. That one into the end zone. Touchback will come back out to the 20. Tonight on CBS begins with television's #1 news magazine, 60 Minutes. Then it's Touched by an Angel, TV's most inspirational drama. And the CBS Sunday night movie, Forever Love, starring Reba McEntire. There's only one place to be on Sunday nights, right here on CBS. And there's a blimp shot of an exit. folks heading out.
And they're using every single one of them they can find here at the new Jack King Cook Stadium.
Yeah, troubled times for the Redskins. They're going to go 0-4, the worst record. They could equal it next week against Dallas. An 0-5 start, 1981 in Joe Gibbs' first year. Here's Green across the middle. This one was close at the half. 17-7, Redskins going in. Trevor Price, after Keith Traylor pressured Trent Green, intercepted a pass to end that drive, and then Denver ran away with it in the second half.
What makes it also surprising, too, for the Washington Redskins is the last couple of years they seem to be kind of an injury away from being in a situation to see one of the flags down on the field on that last play. You know, they've had a couple injuries, so they've only been 8-7-1. They've had a couple 8-6-1. They've had a couple of injuries, so they've been, 9-7. They've been just almost there. They went out and spent a lot of money this offseason on some defensive tackles, and Norv Turner and company has not seen much of it.
Illegal formation. 6 men in the line of scrimmage. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
We put together a little list on some Washington expenditures. I personally kind of like the toilet seat for $1,250, but from there down, it's kind of hard to pick out which one they've gotten the least bang for the buck out of. This has been a problem. This is where you should get more plays out of the center of your defense. They have not gotten it.
3rd down and 8. Green goes deep. Double, triple coverage, as a matter of fact, and it's incomplete, intended for James Jenkins. And Tyrone Braxton was back to defend. Don't forget the NFL Today postgame show with Jim, Marcus, Brent, and George. Scores and highlights from all the scores around the league. I think you might have seen the final. Oakland knocks off Dallas in Dallas today.
Well, Oakland is a surprising football team because you're never quite sure who's going to show up. They got a lot of dog in them, but suddenly some weeks that dog turns into tiger.
Transformation I'd pay to watch,
because they were some barking Jessies last week against Denver.
The word hot was there, wasn't it? Here's Matt Turk with a heck of a punt inside the 10, and it limps to a stop at the 9-yard line. That's a 69-yard punt, but small comfort for Turk and the Redskins. 38-16 with a minute to go. And the Redskins back on the field. There's Matt Turk.
There's just something doesn't seem right about not having a good football team in the nation's capital in Washington. To see all those years of watching Mr. Cook and that great outdoor box he had with the array of political and entertainment stars just sitting out there, and the hail to the Redskins being played by the band, and the stands in the fort on the other side of the field bouncing up and down, and Joe Gibbs' football team just dominating a lot of people. The old smash mouth NFC East days. It just does not seem that this picture and this team fits.
Now, on the other side of this ball, the Denver Broncos wearing the crown kite quite comfortably.
And they've done this without John Elway. Decides just for the game not to play. Bobby Brister comes in, does a very good job of leading the football team. The keys were threefold actually. Washington mistakes, Terrell Davis running the ball, and Mike Shanahan has got a good, aggressive, opportunistic defense.
Broncos run it well behind Terrell Davis. They throw it well behind Bubby Brister. They do not turn it over at all again today. The Denver Broncos win it by a count of 38-16. The NFL Today postgame show with Jim, Marcus, Brent, and George coming up. Mike Shanahan, Norv Turner, both of them 46 years of age, the one aging a little.